The Falcons share is really big back there. I didn't expect to out myself as a Falcons fan. That hard, okay. But it's true. We did lose in the Super Bowl after blowing a 28-3 lead. I'm not afraid to admit that. As a true Falcons fan, I still love and support my team. That is not a cool screen to have up. Why is this, that's why. Not that one. Which one? Nice. Fucking Gator Chomp, baby. It's already buggy. Hold on. Cool. Nice. What's going on, chat? I was thinking about getting Jedi Survivor, but I think I'm going to wait because I heard it's buggy and it's also $70. So you know, I feel like it's too quiet. Hold on. I think that's probably good. Fuck you, actually. Man, I hate settings. Can't ever tell how it sounds on stream, really. Hold on. It's so hot in here. Like I'm gonna be sick. It's so hot. I'm gonna be sick. No, that sounds good. Loki, fire. Okay. 9%. Okay. We got a little bit more game to go. Today's stream hydration. Purely sweet tea. Sweet, cynical. Okay. Very good tea, though. Nice. Okay. So there's something we were meant to do here. Oh, hold down. Y, B, A? Oh, we need charge. Okay, gotcha. Figuring it out. Figuring out the game again. Oh, I hate spiders. You fucking assholes. Okay, hold on. Can I just do this? Oh, hello. Hello. Yeah. Gotcha. I need charge to do that, probably. Okay. Nice. Oh yeah, okay, so holding X. Ah, haha. Figuring it out. I feel like lighting is almost too dark in here, but relatively pretty good, okay. Webcam might be a little big, actually. Kind of noticing that now. That's probably good. We might end up putting on, like, stuff. I don't know. There's probably some fun stuff to react to that we can look at. Suck my dick, actually. Oh. Okay. Oh, do I need to hit that? Something? Probably. can't do any. How do I get more stuff? You know what I'm saying? I need more, like, blue. I need more blue in me. It's kind of what I'm realizing. Shit. Ah. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Backtrack. When in doubt, always backtrack. Okay. Maybe I can get more blue somewhere. Oh. What a blue rock. Hold on. Okay, that doesn't do anything. Oh, nice. Wait, okay, now what happens if I break this? Okay. Essentially nothing, but I feel like I'm making progress. Came this way. Yeah. Sweet. Fuck. Thank you for trying to look at shit. Shit. Okay, hold on. Give me a minute. Dude, those are not. Oh, those things are not there before. Ah, crap. Hold on. I forgot the thing actually moves. Okay. What a sucky enemy. Oh, okay, I have to go this way. That's great, Krongus. Oh, shit. Nice. I'm doing pretty good at this, okay? I'm a master at this game, actually. Okay, this is where I was before? Yeah. Yeah. Got it. I got all I need now. Ugh. Nice. Okay. We don't have to use more blue to do that. Bigger brain, better person, dog. Can should I? Ah, oh, fuck. Oh, did they come back? Okay, they come back. Nice. That was gonna be really cringe. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Should I not? Let's knock this thing down first, right? Probably. Nice. And then knock this one down? Why not? Yeah, that way it looks more dangerous, actually. Oh, Swifty. Nice. Okay. A lot of stuff fell down there. Ooh. Ah, ha ha ha. We need two more. We need one more of those. Then we can get through the door. Oh, what is that? frustrating not to save in this game. Very tedious. Okay. Okay. Swifty. Yeah, so now we know. Oh, I don't know. Was he there? Yeah. Okay, he probably was. It's beautiful. So, okay. Nice. Yeah. Figured that would happen. Okay. Shit. Okay. Oh, there we go. What is that thing? Oh, I don't like that. Okay. Nice. Okay, hold on. Game saved. Swifty. Yet again. Can I get up here? Oh, whole new area. Ah. I don't know if I'm going the right way or not now. Gee, man. Hold on. Oh, I guess that's kind of generally where I'm supposed to go, but... I'm not sure if I'm supposed to go there this quickly. A whole lot of stuff to clear out before I can go over here. She... Hold on. 1 second. Oh. I'm gonna put on some goofy stuff. That is still going on. Okay. Let's see. Do they have the whole thing on YouTube? Ugh. Based. Why is my game so buggy now? Even though I didn't do shit. Why does the fucking Xbox app not work? Gosh fucking damn it, dude. Suck my dick. Thank you. I fucking hate this shitty fucking console thing. I don't know what happened to the old console connect. They worked so much better. I feel like. I don't know what companies deals with like having to make everything shit when they're already perfect. I know this 11-hour thing is not gonna be interesting at all. So let's oh. Um Gotcha. Okay, so this is like the same thing. Let me just which one would probably be best to watch? I don't want to watch someone else's thing. Let's see about this one. Gosh fucking damn it. This one has ads. That's a Oh, 6 years ago? Yeah, suck me off. That's not what I'm looking for. Oh, these are all recent. This is gonna be like from the perspective of never mind. That shit sucks. Do they not just have the full thing? Surely they do. Yeah, this 11-hour thing should have it somewhere in here, right? Golly. Is this also gonna be like...
limit, and they used that very seriously with me. They came in, Schumer came in with Nancy Pelosi, and they were using it. We'll violate it, we'll do whatever. They talked a whole lot different than they do right now. I say to the Republicans out there, congressmen, senators, if they don't give you massive cuts, you're going to have to do a default. And I don't believe that...
Nice, hold on.
Energy has to come...
Is this the whole thing? Is he gonna be talking?
A lot of people said...
The host, ladies and gentlemen...
Fuck! Can I not just watch this? I just want to watch this uncut. I don't want to watch anyone else's shit. I want to watch mine, okay? Where can I find this? Probably not on YouTube. It's kind of what it's panning up to be, okay? Oh, hold on. Oh, why so loud? He's Louise, dog. Oh shit, it's on Rumble. Shit. Probably can't. How's this the best quality I can get? Surely not, right? Surely I can find a YouTube link or something. Why not? What the fuck? Is it a different one? What is this from? Oh, suck my dick. That's from 2020. Huh. My stream still looks good. It's gonna be like a 3-minute video, probably, right? Yeah. Not what I'm looking for. Really? They don't just put it on YouTube? How fucking gay is that? Oh my gosh, CNN, how gay is that? Why can't you just put it on YouTube? What a gay bastard. Okay, we'll just use this website. Looks sketchy as hell. Oh, never mind. There's totally a button for it. I was lying. Can we do a little source for this?
Good evening, and welcome to New Hampshire, the first GOP primary state. We're live here at St. Anselm College for CNN's Town Hall with former President Donald Trump. I'm Caitlin Collins. Tonight, President Trump is here as he embarks on a campaign unlike any other in the history of U.S. presidential elections.
Oh, gotcha.
He's the first former president in more than a century to seek a return to the White House, and he is currently leading the Republican field while also facing multiple criminal investigations and an indictment.
Add
Just
that.
yesterday, he was found liable.
Yes! I figured it out!
No questions are off the
I'm
table,
so great.
and we agreed to no conditions. We're here to get voters the answers that they deserve. Our audience is made up of Republicans and undeclared voters who plan to take part in New Hampshire's Republican primary. They'll get the chance to question the former president directly.
Awesome.
These voters,
Awesome.
the issues that they care about the most.
Make it a little bigger than me.
Former President Trump will get a second chance to take on President Joe Biden. Please welcome the
I probably shouldn't, to be honest, but
former President Donald Trump.
yeah. It's kind of a low audience clap. I'm not gonna lie. Audio. Yo, what the fuck, CNN? I paid high quality money for this, and I'm not watching it free off of the website, dude. Come on.
President Trump, thank you for your time here tonight. We got a great crowd here in New Hampshire, a lot of voters.
Awesome. I'm glad I figured out how to do that.
What your 2024 term would look like, what another Trump term would look like. We'll get to the voters shortly, but your polls show that you were dominating the Republican race right now, but you were also under active federal investigation.
Also, because like
for
no
trying
one's
to
in the
overturn the
Republican
2020
race, but,
election results. Your first term ended with a deadly riot at the Capitol, and you still have not publicly acknowledged the 2020 election results. Why should Americans put you back in the White House?
Because we did fantastically. We got 12 million more votes than we had in, as you know, in 2016. I actually say we did far better in that election. Got the most that anybody's ever gotten as a sitting president of the United States. I think that when you look at that result and when you look at what happened during that election, unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people in this audience, and maybe a couple that don't, but most people understand what happened. That was a rigged election, and it's a shame that we had to go through it.
Not this
It's
shit
very bad
again.
for our country. All over the world, they looked at it,
like
and they saw exactly what everyone else saw. You look, even if you just look recently with the 51 intelligence agents, that made a 16-point difference. If you look at the FBI, if you look at the FBI and Twitter, they call it Twitter files, made a big difference. If you look at
Mr.
through the
President,
vote,
back to what you just said there, though, it was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen election. You and your supporters lost more than 60 court cases.
There is, okay, hold on. There's a big difference between a rigged election and a stolen election, okay? The election was not stolen by Donald Trump. There was no steal. Joe Biden won, okay? But you can argue, did he win fair and square? Or was he directly involved with, like, the result of the election? I don't think Biden stole the election from Donald Trump, okay? Now, do I think there was probably some stuff that shouldn't have happened in terms of, like, media bias and whatnot? Covering up stories? Probably. Sure. I don't think the Twitter files were that revealing. I think they were almost a soft piece just made to make Elon Musk probably look better. I don't know. I don't think they were that... Twitter files did not convince me of anything. And neither is anything Donald Trump's ever said about the 2020 election. I just don't believe that. I think, yeah, there was probably some fishy stuff that went on that we should look into and we should improve for the betterment of our elections. But generally speaking, that's happened in like every U.S. election in history, okay? And it's never affected the outcome enough to where we've said that the election is stolen, and it didn't in 2020. I just wish he'd stop on that point, because moderates would probably not hate him as much if he just admitted that he lost. And also, it just sounds like he's a loser every time he does that, okay? It's very annoying.
On the election, it's been nearly 2.5 years. Can you publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 2020 election?
Let me just go on. If you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government cameras, where they were stuffing ballot boxes. So with all of that, I think it's a shame that what happened. I think it's a very sad thing for our country. I think it's a very sad thing, frankly, for the world, because if you look at what's gone to our country has gone to hell. Our borders are bad. Our military has been bad. You look at the taxes, you look at inflation, what's happened to inflation, it's just destroying our country. We've really become, in many ways, a third world country. And it's very sad what's happened in this administration.
It's not true.
Something that will turn around on day one. We were energy independent. Now energy is at a level that we've never had to pay before. Nobody can afford to continue to pay what's happening with energy. But we were energy independent. We were getting out of Afghanistan with strength and with dignity. And instead we got out, we looked like fools, probably the most
And Mr.
embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
We have a lot of questions about the economy and foreign
Good.
policy tonight, but what you just said there, Republican officials debunked those claims about fraudulent ballots. We want to give you a chance tonight.
Who?
Republican officials in Georgia and every single state. There is no your own election officials, Mr. President. So we wanted to give you a chance.
People were afraid to take on the issue, but we have a big problem in this country.
Oh, how did I live?
We want to
What?
give you a chance to
We have
acknowledge the
elections
results.
that were horrible. If you look at what happened in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, if you look at what happened in Detroit, Michigan, if you look at what happened in Atlanta, millions of votes, and all you have to do is take a look at government cameras. You'll see them. People going to 28 different voting booths to vote, to put in 7 ballots apiece.
But
I mean,
Mr.
and
President,
they're all
I
on
have to
camera.
stop you there because there is no evidence of that. Your own election officials testified to that and have said that Republicans in these states did this. In Georgia, there were multiple recounts, including a hand recount. We have questions about the claims that you're making tonight from voters on this topic. I want to bring in Scott Dustin from Concord. He works in insurance litigation. He's an undeclared voter. That's what they call independents here in New Hampshire, as you know. He did vote for you in 2020. Scott, what's your question for the president?
Hi, President Trump. Welcome back to New Hampshire.
Thank you.
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Will I suspend, excuse me, what?
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Yeah, unless I see election fraud. If I see election fraud, I think I have an obligation to say it. And you know what we went through a short while ago has really put our country in a big problem. I hope to do that. I hope we're going to have very honest elections. We should have voter ID. We should have one-day elections. We should have paper ballots instead of these mail-in votes. But the answer is yes, and I hope that it's going to be very straight up, because if it's going to be straight up, we're going to win the election.
So you will suspend talk to his question about the 2020 election on the campaign trail?
I guess we're going to just win. We're at a point now, we're getting so close. Let's just win it again and straighten out our country.
One other question on this. When you talked about the 2020 election results in the past, you once suggested terminating the Constitution. Do you stand by those comments?
No. You were able to do certain things. I'm not talking about terminating the Constitution. I'm talking about cherishing the Constitution. The Constitution says that we're supposed to have legal and well-maintained and well-looked-at elections, and we didn't have that. I cherish our Constitution, but we have to live up to the Constitution. We weren't living up to the Constitution.
I was just saying there's no evidence of that election fraud. You did once tweet.
You're supposed to say that. I'm glad you say that. But look, that was a horrible election. That was a horrible election. And unless somebody's very stupid, and I know you very well, you're not stupid at all, but you perhaps are given an agenda, or you have an agenda. Look, we have to have honest elections in our country. We have open borders. You look at what's happening. I mean, we have elections. We have open borders. Look at what's happening on our southern border. Millions and millions of people are coming in. They're being released from prisons. They're being released from mental institutions. And we have millions of people pouring into our country. And now they're getting rid of Title 42, which I put on, which kept people out that were sick. And
Mr. President, we have a lot of questions about immigration to get to tonight. Obviously, that's a big topic, especially given what's expected to happen tomorrow. But I want to talk about the influence you have over your voters. It's very clear that you are very influential over them. You have a lot of impact
I've been up here, have I?
rallies and seen it up close, which raised a lot of questions about the influence that we saw that you had on them on January 6th. And your
shit.
when they
That's a new guy.
attacked the Capitol. Do you have any regrets about your actions on January 6th?
Yes. Say yes.
You know,
Say yes. Say yes. Say yes.
To it, but January 6th had to do with the fact that hundreds of thousands of people, and you don't see the pictures very often. A lot of the people
Dude,
here
say yes.
probably were there. January 6th, it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. That was prior to the walk down to the Capitol building. I don't think, and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people. I've never spoken to a crowd as large as this. And that was because they thought the election was rigged. And they were there proud. They were there with love in their heart. That was an unbelievable, and it was a beautiful day. And what I was asked to do, I wasn't involved in it very much. I was asked to come in. Would I make a speech? I made a speech. I said, walk peacefully and patriotically, you know, many different things. In fact, I brought a list of things. I don't want to bore the audience, but we can go sentence after sentence after sentence of things I said and things I put out. One of the big problems was that Nancy Pelosi, Crazy Nancy as I affectionately call her, Crazy Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington were in charge, as you know, of security. And they
They're
did
not in
not
charge
do their
of the
job.
National Guard. You're in charge of the
They
National
are in,
Guard.
well, I offered them National Guard. I said, we'll give you soldiers, we'll give you National Guard, we'll give you whatever you want. And they turned me down.
You're
And in
acting
fact, she
defense
turned me down.
secretary.
She turned me down in writing. They turned me down.
But your acting defense secretary, Chris Miller, at the time, he says you never gave a formal order to deploy the National Guard. But when it
Excuse
came to
me,
that day,
just the opposite.
Wait.
And he's offended.
Hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone's in chat. You as the president can't actually send National Guard, right? Unless it's requested, or states can refute you sending National Guard. I think, right? I almost feel like I'm certainly right about this, because I think there was a thing, the Chaz thing. Fuck this stupid Xbox thing. Okay. Give me a better fucking. I need my capture card back. Use what I need. I think. I'm pretty sure. You can refute it, because I think in the Chaz situation, Trump offered to send National Guard there, and they said no. A state have the ability to deny National Guard being sent, something like that. Basic Constitution principles dictate that one state cannot deploy its National Guard troops into a different unwilling state and Title 32 status any more than it could if the troops were, and SAD says, hold on. Can the federal government send national to, sure, DC. Let's see, hold on. These National Guard is unequivocally controlled by the federal government. There's a process to how they are deployed. Here's a breakdown. Maryland National Guard. January 6 reports emerged that local leaders wanted to deploy National Guardsmen. Let me just pop this screen up. Hold on. Is that like... There we go, hold on. Let me just see. Okay, I'll read this with you guys. Request for allegedly being denied by the federal government. Today, the Department of Defense denied a request by Mayor Merle Bowser to expand their responsibilities to District Complete National Guard so that they would be authorized to protect and restore order at the Capitol building. That request was denied. Continue to state that the Council is on full support of the Mayor's request. We are appalled that this fundamental request was denied. We urge the Department of Defense to reconsider their decision and to allow the National Guard to restore safety and sanctity to the Capitol. Of course, more democracy. Ah, fuck you, Twitter. I think so long to poison. Oh, this is January 6th. Right? Stop. Lack of forceful response to the attack on the Capitol by its supporters again raised one of the enduring mysteries that day. Why did it take so long to deploy the National Guard? It did not fully answer the question, but it shed a light on Mr. Trump's refusal to push for troops to assist police officers who were overrun by an angry mob determined to halt the certification of the 2020 election. Blah, blah, blah. The mobilization and deployment of the National Guard from an armory just 2 miles away from the Capitol was hung up by confusion, communications breakdown, and concern over the wisdom of dispatching armed soldiers to quell the riot. It took more than 4 hours from the time the Capitol Police Chief made the call for backup. These National Guard troops arrived and kept remaining the subject of dueling narratives and finger pointing. Okay, timeline. Wait, that's not fucking... Hold on, is this true? What is this? Suck my fucking dick, New York Times. Did not request 10,000 guard troops. Swifted, okay. Oh, hold on, wait, yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking for now. George Floyd, Trump told... Why does it have George Floyd? Trump told to back off Seattle's Chaz police free zone. Wait, said Mr. Trump should stay out of the state's business, and Seattle's mayor said any invasion of the city would be illegal. Police abandoned a precinct there on Monday. Mr. Trump said the area had been overtaken by domestic terrorists. Since police withdrawal demonstrates in the area have been largely peaceful, it has been called Chaz. Hundreds of people have been gathering there to demonstrate. As Trump's against protesters has meanwhile outlined proposal for reforming police for greater funding. However, calls for defunding budgets. It's probably true, by the way. It's probably really bad to defund the police. That probably won't help any police issues. If anything, you gotta have more funding for more like training and whatnot. Or just like probably making the hiring process or training process of police in general better, like the scouting, I don't know what you'd call that, like scouting process, so that you don't hire like racist cops. Probably need more funding to do that type of stuff, right? So you decrease the funding, then you're gonna have situations where they're probably gonna have to like try to meet quotas. They're gonna hire like people that are just fucking assholes. You know, you're probably gonna get a worse overall. Anyways, that's just a random thought. Weekend Seattle police use tear gas and flashbangs. Yeah, so basically, what do protesters want? I don't give a shit about that. If you don't do it, I will. Earlier this month, the protesters were spreading across the U.S. Mr. Trump threatened to send the U.S. Army. State governors who oversee law and order were unable to guarantee safety and secure property on their streets. This would involve invoking the Insurrection Act, a 19th century law, which includes details of circumstances where the government of Washington, D.C. can intervene without state authorization. The Act says the approval of governors is not required when the president determines the situation in a state makes it impossible to enforce U.S. laws, or when citizens' rights are threatened. This law was invoked in 1922 during riots in Los Angeles following the acquittal of 4 police officers charged with assaulting black motorist Rodney King. But on that occasion, the governor of California requested help. The law was used throughout the 1950s and 60s and civil rights era by 3 different presidents. On some of the occasions where these occasions there were objections from state governors. Okay. Gotcha. So there actually is a way that he could have That's where it was? Oh, here we go. Oh, this is it. Oh, okay. That's kind of a tiny area, honestly. I thought it was a little bit bigger. It's probably aren't like people's houses or businesses, really, a lot of them. Like, it's a police station. These are probably some jobs. People work here, would be my guess. In a park. Not justifying it. Fuck those guys. They should have sent the National Guard if they could have, okay? They probably, I don't know, Trump probably should have sent it on, in situation
guy,
2.
And he was ready
probably?
to go.
I don't know.
They turned him down.
I gotta
If
think
you
about
look,
that.
The mayor of Washington, D.C., lovely lady, she said, we don't want it. We don't like the look. Nancy Pelosi said, oh, we don't like the look. If they would have had I offered them 10,000 soldiers. I said, it could be 10, it could be more, but I offered them specifically 10,000 soldiers. If they would have taken 500 soldiers, you wouldn't have had the problem. They turned it down. And if you look at the Inspector General report, he says they turned it down. They made a terrible mistake.
Well, Chris Miller was your acting defense secretary. He says you never gave that order. But back to what happened on that day. You said you weren't.
He did not say that.
He has testified that, Mr. President.
He did not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about that speech that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out. So if you look at on January 5th.
He did blow up. Sometimes Trump has a great energy, and if he like carries his energy, he can absolutely crush the presidential election. By the way, the question is just, can he actually carry that energy or not? I don't know. My guess right now. Oh shit! This guy's like coming after my shit. That's what he does. My guess right now is that Trump probably could win the election. Why the fuck is my guy so fucked up? He's like not jumping that high. What Trump should what the fuck? Another one, dog? Where are they coming from? Shit. What Trump should say is he should say that he regrets January 6th. Yeah. Or he has a regret with January 6th. He should have probably pushed harder for having National Guard there. He should have probably made it more clear that he was like it was going to be a little safer. He probably should have said like, listen, don't do anything rash. Let the process be the process. Don't like fudge it up basically by being violent, right? There's things he might have said or he might have mentioned slightly, and then they can use that quote like a million times. But realistically, he should have like. I think knowing the tactics that were going to be used against him, he should have made it very, very clear that this was a very peaceful protest, okay? They were going to walk in there. And I know he said it, but him saying it almost isn't enough, you know? Sometimes actions speak louder than words, okay? I feel like January 6th should have been probably more controlled. There probably should have been more security that was just hired from the Trump team. Like, even if he didn't have National Guard there. And like, you know, and technically he could have overrided the law and sent National Guard in. Or he could have invoked a law allowing to send the National Guard in, or an act. But then you can, I guess, question whether that was the right thing to do or not. For him to fucking shit, man. It's very annoying. Very annoying. There's things he could have definitely done that would have improved the situation, is all I'm saying. And now he should say, yeah, my regret is probably that I shouldn't have pushed so hard, saying the election was rigged. I should have let evidence go through its process, and then let people like kind of make that judgment for themselves. That'd probably be my guess. Now, Trump will never admit that because he's already so far in that like he's never going to say that he lost the election. Once he claims that he won, he can't ever claim that he lost again, okay? That's like the Hillary Clinton thing. Like, Hillary Clinton will still claim that she won the election because she claimed it once, like, so long ago that now it's, like, tied to her. So.
I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior. Okay. I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look, January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation.
Shit in my fucking asshole,
no
dude.
Violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
No, I know, but you didn't report that. You know why? Because it was
We
taken
did report
down.
it. I was reporting
it was
that
taken down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear to you that they were not being peaceful, you saw them rushing the Capitol, breaking windows. They were hitting officers with flagpoles, tasing them, beating them up. When it was clear they weren't being peaceful, why did you wait 3 hours to tell them to leave the Capitol? They listened to you like no one else. You know that.
They do. I agree with that.
So
But
why didn't you go
Nancy Pelosi and the mayor are in charge. I assume they were able to do their job. They weren't.
But
And
Pelosi's
it kicked
not in charge of Capitol
And if you
security.
remember, I made a video right outside the Oval Office in the Rose Garden. And I'm very proud of that video. I didn't have a script. I don't need scripts like a certain person that's in there right now.
The video, it came out much later after they had already...
What the fuck is that thing?
It was a great video. And it was a beautiful video. And it said, I mean, I don't want to read it all, but you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people of law and order. We love the people of law and order. We can't play into the hands of these other people. We have to have peace. Please go home.
Can I even get past that thing?
They took that down, and to this day, it hasn't been put up. And the reason is it's so good and so conclusive that all of this nonsense and all of the tens of millions of dollars that have been spent are just wiped away with this one. And they've never put it back up. They had another one that they did the same thing.
But that video that you referenced there, it wasn't posted until 4:17 p.m.
No, I'll tell
they
you.
breached the Capitol at 2 p.m.
That video was posted.
4:17
Yeah,
p.m.
actually a little bit before that.
Right, so that's my question.
Excuse me.
Because in that 3 hours, over 140
it was
officers
posted
were
after
injured.
the first one I just read, though, and that was at 2 o'clock.
But I think the reason the timeline is so critical here, because going back to your influence, in
There's
that
another
3
one I
hours,
posted.
over 140 officers were injured.
I did my jump.
And a person named Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that thug that killed her, there was no reason to shoot her. At blank range, cold blank range, they shot her. And she was a good person. She was a patriot. There was no reason. There was no reason. And he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
The officer was not bragging about the fact that he killed her. But
bragging.
one person who was at the Capitol that day, as you know, was your vice president, Mike Pence, who says that you endangered his life on that day.
I don't think he was in any danger.
Mr. President, do you feel that you owe him an apology?
No, because he did something wrong. He should have put the votes back to the state legislatures, and I think we would have had a different outcome. I really do.
But he doesn't have the authority to do that, as you know.
What?
The vice president does not have the authority to reject those.
Are you ready? Let's have this one out just now, because it's interesting. Let's keep it interesting, right? I like Mike Pence very much. He's a very fine man. He's a very nice man. He made a mistake. His lawyer said, you cannot move. I called him the human conveyor belt. I said, even if the votes, I talked to his lawyer, even if the votes are absolutely fraudulent, he can't say, yes, sir, he can't send that. And the Democrats played it, and the rhinos played it.
Oh.
And then the election was over.
I meant to go down here.
And Mike said to me, I can't do it. The lawyers told me I can't do it. They can't do it. But the lawyers were wrong, because right after the election, they all met, the rhinos and the Democrats, and they worked out a plan to make sure that future vice presidents don't do what I said you could do.
That's not what happened. You're referring to the Electoral Count Act. I've read that. There is no authority.
No,
legal experts, including Republican legal experts, say that he does not have that authority, Mr. President. But
why did they change the law then, saying that you can't do it?
They didn't change the law. They strengthened the law because they were worried about presidents exploiting.
Meaning you could do it.
That's not what it means.
Thank you.
They strengthened the law
Mike
because
had
they
the
were
right
worried.
to do it. They convinced him he didn't, and it was a horrible thing for our country. If you would have sent those votes back to Georgia, Pennsylvania, and other states, Wisconsin, which if you look at Wisconsin, they virtually admitted now that the election was rigged. If
They
you
have
would have
not
sent
admitted
those
that,
votes
Mr.
back
President.
to many of those states, they would not come back in the affirmative. And remember what I said, and you just said it pretty much. You admitted what I said was right. They said he didn't have the right to do it, and he did have the right to do it, and that's why they changed the law, taking that right away.
I should note that your campaign paid for a recount that happened in Wisconsin. It actually had more votes for President Biden by the end of it. But I want to move on to Wayne Byer. He's a retired attorney from North Conway.
So many illegal votes were cast in Wisconsin. And if you look in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they had so many illegal votes, they didn't even know what to do with them. You're absolutely wrong.
Mr. President, there weren't any fraudulent votes in Wisconsin. I do want to get to the audience, though. We have questions for you from the audience. Wayne Byer is a retired attorney from North Conway. He has previously served in Republican administrations. He volunteered for the Republican Party in the 2022 midterms. He voted for you in 2020. What's your question for the president, Wayne?
Thank you for coming, Mr. President.
Thank you, Wayne.
My question to you is, will you pardon the January 6 rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But, you know, when you look at Antifa, what they've done to Portland, and if you look at Antifa, look.
Donnie, you okay?
Look at what it
Caused me to fucking die.
And BLM, many people were killed. These people, I'm not trying to justify anything. But you have two standards of justice in this country. And what they've done, and I love that question, because what they've done to so many people is nothing. And then what they've done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion of them. You know, they did a very, and it'll be very early on. And they're living in hell right now.
So when it comes
they're
to
living
pardons,
in hell, and they're policemen, and they're firemen, and they're soldiers, and they're carpenters and electricians, and they're great people. Many of them are just great people.
Mr. President, one of the people who was convicted was a former policeman, but he was convicted of attacking a police officer, I should note. But when you said you are considering pardoning a large portion of those charged with crimes on January 6th, does that include the 4 Proud Boys members who were charged and convicted of seditious conspiracy?
I don't know. I'd have to look at their case, but I will say in Washington, D.C., you cannot get a fair trial. You cannot. Just like in New York City, you can't get a fair trial either.
Speaking of New York, I want to ask you about a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. The Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this. But what do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up. Okay.
Fuck, he's so good. He's so good at just talking.
And the only person in history who had a charge like that. And
He's got such a good energy. Like, I don't know how the fuck Democrats are gonna run Biden against this guy.
I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up. And
Then again, moderates hate him, so you never know.
What's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, very nice man. She called him an ape. Happens to be African American. Called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All of these things. But with her, they can put in anything. Access
this
Hollywood.
This was a jury of 9 people who found you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so, because I think the whole thing, just so you understand, ready? I never met this woman. I never saw this woman. This woman said, I met her at the front door of Bergdorf Goodman, which I rarely go into other than for a couple of charities. I met her in the front door. She was about 60 years old. This is like 22, 23 years ago. I met her in the front door of Bergdorf Goodman. I was immediately attracted to her, and she was immediately attracted to me. And we had this great chemistry. We're walking into a crowded department store. We had this great chemistry, and a few minutes later, we end up in a room, a dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman, right near the cash register. And then she found out there were locks on the door. So she said, I found one that was open. She found one. She learned this at trial. She found one that was open. What kind of a woman meets somebody and brings them up, and within minutes you're playing hanky-panky in a dressing room, okay? I don't know if she was married then or not. John Johnson, I feel sorry for you, John Johnson.
Mr. President, can I
No, but
add
think
to this?
of it. Think of
I
it.
know you're recounting what she said, but Mr.
But
President,
let me just, if I could, because you asked the question,
This was a
just so you
jury,
understand,
though.
if I was walking in at the because I was very famous then, and I owned the Plaza Hotel right next door, and I owned buildings around it, I'm not going into a dressing room of a crowded department store. Then I say, if she was being raped, and by the way, they said she wasn't raped. Okay, that was her charge. It wasn't.
They found that you sexually
found,
abused her.
What? Say what? They did. They said he didn't rape her. And
They did
I
not
didn't
say
do
that you
anything else either. You know what? Because I have no idea who the hell she is.
But Mr.
I don't
President,
know who this woman
can I
is.
ask you, given your recounting
I
your
don't know who,
version?
and I tell you this.
But Mr.
Are you
President,
ready?
can I
And I swear
ask
on
you
my
because
children, which I never do. I have no idea who this woman. This is a fake story, made up story. We had a horrible Clinton appointed judge. He was horrible. He allowed her to put everything in. He allowed us to put nothing in.
Mr. President,
this is a
you're
fake
recounting your version of
story.
events here right now to the audience. You referenced the trial. You did not go to the trial and actually
That's right.
testify. Do you wish that you had testified?
Oh, there's a step right there. I didn't see it till now.
This was my lawyer said,
I was being
"Sir,
autistic.
you don't have to do it." I actually said, I think I should. It would be respectful. They said, sir, don't do it. This is a fake story, and you don't want to give it credibility.
One
That's
thing
why I
you-
didn't go.
One thing you did do in this.
And I swear, and I've never done that, and I swear to I have
Okay,
no
let's go
idea
this guy
who the
first.
hell. She's a
Mr.
whack
President,
job.
you did not testify in person in this trial. There was a tape deposition of you from October in it. You defended the comments that you made on that Access Hollywood tape about being able
The
to grab
fuck? What I keep
women
drowning?
how you want. Do you stand by those comments?
I said if you're famous and rich or whatever I said, but I said if you're a star, you are, and I said women let you. I didn't say you grab. I said women let. You know, you didn't use that word, but if you look, women let you. Now, they said, will you take that back? I said, look,
That's kind of a
for a
weird thing
million
to
years,
say.
this is the way it's
Red
been.
pill. No
I want to
shitting.
be honest. This is the way it's been. I can take it back if you'd like to, but if you're a famous person, if you're a star, and I'm not referring to myself, I'm saying people that are famous, people that are
You were
stars,
asked in the deposition, do
people
you
that are
consider
rich,
yourself to be a star, and
people
you
that are
said yes.
powerful, they tend to do pretty well in a lot of different ways, okay? And you would like me to take that back? I can't take it back because it happens to be true. I said it's been true for 1 million years, approximately 1 million years, perhaps a little bit longer than that.
So you stand by those comments?
Well, I don't want to lie.
Mr. President, we
here's
have a lot of
here's what
questions.
she wants
Mr.
me to say.
President, let's
A
get to
rich
the
and
audience
famous
questions
person
tonight.
has no advantage.
Dude, I wish someone would
have
ask
an
Biden
advantage.
about the
And I say,
one
unfortunately,
woman that had that video where she said that he like put one hand down his her one way. I wonder, because I feel like the contrast, like media reaction, is like so polar opposite. Because they just hate Trump, they love Biden.
Unfortunately, but
That's like that's not even
You
that's
said
not even like
fortunately or unfortunately,
Well,
but Mr.
fortunately or
President, we have
it's not even a
lot of
thing.
her.
I'm not saying either story's true. Okay. Trump could have absolutely sexually assaulted this woman.
questions to get to tonight. I want to
And
get to the audience.
Biden
We've
could
got
have not
Danielle
done it,
Regan.
but I wonder
She
what the
works as an
reaction,
oral
the media
surgery
reaction is.
assistant. She's a Republican
I think it'd be
activist
very
from
funny.
Derry. She was a New Hampshire delegate
some
for
good
you in
TikToks from
2020.
it, okay.
What's your question?
Hi, thank you so much for coming to New Hampshire to answer our questions. My question is regarding the economy. Over the past 2 years, we have seen the prices for everything skyrocket. From food to gas to utilities and insurance costs, many people's bills are up several $100s a month, including mine. If elected president again, what is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Ah,
drill,
fuck.
baby, drill.
Shit.
So
You fucking got him.
we were energy independent. We were soon going to be energy dominant. And nobody had ever done what I did. We got oil down to $1.87. Actually, it fell lower than that in some cases.
Shit.
We had to save the oil
Get the book
companies.
away from me.
The price was getting so. We were doing incredibly.
game.
We had the greatest economy in the history of our country, probably the greatest economy in the history of the world. We're energy independent, soon to be energy dominant. We were going to be bigger than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together ×2. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation. Any other nation. And these stupid fools ended it. And energy went from $1.87 and even lower for gasoline, for a car. They went from $1.87 to $5, $6, $7, $8, and even $9. And your electricity bills went through the roof, your heating bills went through the roof. And that's what started inflation. And it hasn't stopped because people are paying now for bacon and for eggs and for the 2 and 3 times what it was just a little while ago. We created the greatest economy in history. A big part of that economy was got you the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country, bigger than the Reagan cuts, bigger than any cut. And also, Caitlin, also, as you know, we got the biggest regulation and regulatory cuts. This place was rocking, and then we were given a gift from China, and China paid a big price. And let me tell you something. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes from China. But prior to COVID coming in, and then I rebuilt the economy again, a second time. But we had, prior to COVID coming in as from China, from Wuhan, which I said it came from Wuhan. Everybody said, oh, you're wrong about that. You're wrong. It came from Wuhan. I said it right from day one. So we had the greatest economy in the world. Here's the story. They made energy so high, and energy is all invasive. It is massive as an industry and as a cost. It lifted everything. If you made donuts, no matter what you did, and we had inflation, the likes of which I guess we haven't had, they said, for 52 years, but I think more than that. We had no inflation. We had the lowest energy prices we've had in decades. This country was rocking and rolling. And by the way, we had the most secure border in the history of our country.
Mr. President, we have more questions on the economy, and I want to make sure we get to all of those.
That doesn't sound like an economic plan.
Just 3 weeks away from defaulting on its debt. That could mean millions of jobs lost, people not getting their Social Security payments. People believe it would put the U.S. economy into a recession. On that topic, I want to bring in Marta Cervella, a student here at St. Anselm. She is an undeclared voter who did not vote in 2020. Marta, what's your question?
Hi, Mr. President.
Hi, thank you.
So my question is, what do you think about the United States' current debt situation, and how can we move forward?
Such an important question. So we're at $33 trillion, a number that nobody ever thought possible. When we had our economy rocking and rolling just prior to COVID coming in, like literally, we were making a fortune. And oil, we were going to make so much money from oil, we were going to start paying off debt. But then with COVID coming in, we had to do other things. We had to keep this country alive because it was so serious. But we have to get the country back. We have to lower energy prices. We have to lower interest rates. Interest rates are through the roof. Energy has to come down. It all has to come down, and we have to start paying off debt. But when we have a debt limit, and they use that very seriously. I mean, they came in, Schumer came in with Nancy Pelosi, and they were using it. We'll violate it. We'll do whatever. They talked a whole lot different than they do right now. I say to the Republicans out there, congressmen, senators, if they don't give you massive cuts, you're going to have to do a default. And I don't believe they're going to do a default because I think the Democrats will absolutely cave because you don't want to have that happen. But it's better than what we're doing right now because we're spending money like drunken sailors.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you think the U.S. should default if the White House does not agree to the spending cuts Republicans are demanding?
Well, you might as well do it now because you'll do it later. Because we have to save this country. Our country is dying. Our country is being destroyed by stupid people, by very stupid people.
You once said that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the Oval Office.
That's when I was president.
So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Because now I'm not president.
Fuck, he's good, dude. I don't know, man.
The U.S. defaulting would
Could be a good election.
Well, you don't know.
For everyone in this room, for all Americans.
You don't know. It's psychological. It's really psychological more than anything else. And it could be very bad. It could be maybe nothing. Maybe it's you have a bad week or a bad day. But look, you have to cut your costs. We're spending $7 trillion
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
much of it on nonsense. $7 trillion or nonsense.
We've got
And
another
I actually
question from a
said,
voter tonight.
get all of that money that was wasted, and frankly, the Senate should have never approved it. Get all that money that was wasted, and if they don't get rid of that, you'll have to default.
Fucking damn it.
Okay?
Mr.
You'll have to
President,
default.
we've got another voter here
And
tonight.
by the way, you're going to default eventually anyway, but it's going to be much messier. I don't think you'll have to default. I think if the Republicans hold strong and they say we want
Motherfucker.
let's say we want $5 trillion off, I really think
Whatever.
the Democrats have no choice but to do it. And if I win, they're going to be doing the same thing to me in 2 years. I guarantee you that.
Mr.
They're
President,
going
we've
to
got
play a
another
very
voter
hard
here
ball game,
tonight.
and they did that before.
Bobby Petrino has been waiting very patiently.
Sure.
He's a student at St. Anselm. He's a member of College Republicans. He's an undeclared voter right now. He supported you in 2020. Bobby, what's your question for President Trump?
Hi, thank you for coming. This is a bit of a pivot, but with gun violence and mass shootings in the news cycle recently, I'm worried that state governments and the federal government are going to act to repress gun rights. Under your administration, you instructed the Department of Justice and the ATF to ban bump stocks. If elected president again, how would you act not only to defend our Second Amendment rights, but to restore rights that have been taken from us, such as, by example, recently the ATF's ruling on the pistol stabilizing braces?
Yeah, as you know, the bump stocks are actually a very unimportant thing. And NRA, I went with them, and they said it doesn't mean anything. They're actually, all they do is teach you how to shoot very inaccurately. So we did that. There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do. But we have a very big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger, it's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect our Second Amendment.
Mr. President, you dealt with a lot of mass shootings when you were in office. This year, there have already been more than 200 mass shootings in 2023. If you are reelected, are there any new gun restrictions that you would sign into law?
I would do numerous things. For instance, schools, we would harden, very much harden. And I'm a very believer. I believe in teachers. I love teachers. I think they're incredible. And they love the children, not quite like the parents, but they love the children in many cases almost as much. Many of these teachers are soldiers, ex-policemen. They're people that really understand weapons. And you don't need 5% of the teachers would be more than you could ever have if you're going to hire security guards. But in addition to that, have security guards. You have to harden your entrances. You have to make schools safe. And you can make other places safe. But it is a big mental health problem in this country more than anything else. And remember, we have 700 million guns. 700 million. Many people, if they don't have a gun, they're not going to be very safe. I mean, if they don't have a gun, it gives them security. Now, you need them for entertainment, you need them for hunting, you need them for a lot of different things. But there are people that if they didn't have the privilege of having a gun in some form, many of them would not be alive today. You know, there's a certain country that had a very strict policy on guns, very, very strict.
Which country?
And, Brazil, okay? Brazil, very strict. And the former president of Brazil, and the killing was incredible. They were walking into people's homes and killing people. They had no protection. He said, go out and buy guns. People went out and bought guns, and it went way down. The numbers went way down because they had security. If you look at Chicago, Chicago has the single toughest gun policies in the nation. They are so tough you can't breathe. New York, too, and other places also. All of those places are the worst and most dangerous places. So that's not the answer.
No new restrictions that you would sign if reelected, Mr. President. I want you to meet Julie Miles, a registered nurse from Merrimack. She's a Republican who voted for you in 2020. Julie, what's your question for the president?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate you answering this question this evening. How do you plan to appeal to women voters in New Hampshire who are concerned about the Dobbs decision and how states may change their laws?
It's such a great question, and it was such a great victory, and people are starting to understand it now. You know that they wanted to bring it back to the states, but that was probably the least important part of that victory. Getting rid of Roe v. Wade was an incredible thing for pro-life because it gave pro-life something to negotiate with. Pro-life had absolutely nothing being stuck in Roe v. Wade to negotiate with. And now what's happening, and I see it all over, deals are being made, deals are going to be made. And look, everybody that was president wanted to get rid and tried to get rid of Roe v. Wade.
You mean
for 50
Republicans?
years. Republicans. For 50 years, this has been going on. Actually, a couple of Democrats, too. But for 50 years, this has been going on. I was able to do it, and I was very honored to do it. But by doing it, things are happening that are very, very positive. And You have to, I happen to believe in the exceptions, the life of the mother.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you say he got rid of
incest,
everybody?
like Ronald Reagan believed in the exceptions, but I happen to believe that. I think it's frankly important to do that, but a lot of people are, against that. A relatively small.
I don't know if you could take credit for that, to be
The
honest.
way I look, I think it's
And he
very
did
important to say this. I
put
consider
Amy
the
Coney
other side to
Barrett,
be radical.
but
Because the other side,
still.
under Roe v. Wade and other things, the other side, they're radical because they will. Remember the debate with Hillary Clinton? I said, rip the baby out of the womb at the end of the 9th month. They will kill the baby in the 9th month. If you look at that crazy governor of Virginia from the former governor, where he said, no, the baby will be born, and then we'll decide essentially whether or not to execute the baby.
But, Mr. President, can we talk about what you would do if
No, but these are the
if you
radical people.
reelected?
It's not the pro-life people that are radical.
But if you are reelected and you're back in the Oval Office and you get legislation to your desk, would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
What I'll do is negotiate so that people are happy. But the fact that I was able, I'm so proud of it. We put 3 great justices on the Supreme Court. We have almost 300 federal judges on the Supreme Court.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you would sign a federal abortion ban into law.
I said this. I want to
no shot. That'd be insane.
And we're looking, and we want to do what's right for everybody.
But what's right?
But now, for the first time,
Dude, he'd lose I think he'd honestly lose a lot of voters if he does that shit.
Capability, because you didn't have it before. They could kill the
why he
baby
won't-
in
he
the
won't- he
9th
wouldn't
month
say
or
anything,
after
yeah.
the baby was born. Now they won't be able to do that.
But I think this is a really important question for you to answer, because this is something every Republican, including those who are running against you for the nomination, are being asked about, is would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
And many of them are going to give you the same answer as I am. First of all, I am honored to have done what I did. And a lot of people say,
Fucking get away from me.
150 years, he's now the most consequential president because he saved so many lives. And I'm honored to have done it. And because of what I've done, we now have a great negotiating ability. That's what I do in life. I negotiate. We have a great negotiating ability, and I think we're going to be able to get something done.
What do you mean negotiating ability?
How the
Because the question
fuck do you
that
get through
Republicans
these
have,
doors,
and
dude?
some of your allies on Capitol Hill say that they want to introduce legislation when it comes to banning abortion. If they send it to your desk, would you sign it?
Some people are at 6 weeks. Some people are at 3 weeks,
Where's
2
President
weeks.
Trump?
President Trump is going to make a determination what he thinks is great for the country and what's fair for the country. But the fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50 years of trying, they worked for 50 years. I've never seen anything like it. They worked, and I was so honored to have done it. We are in a very good negotiating position right now, only because of what I was able to do. And remember this, again, you talk about radicalism. People that will kill a baby in the 9th month or the 8th month or the 7th month or after the baby is born, they're the radicals, not the pro-life.
I just want to give you...
I think most Democrats don't support killing the baby, right, at 8 or 9 months. I think generally, if you can remove the baby, most people say, yeah, remove the baby, just don't kill it, right, at like 8 or 9 months. I think if not, that's insane. Probably true, they probably are radical, but then, I don't know. There are also Republicans, pro-life people that will be like, ban abortion outright, like, I don't know, that feels a little radical to me too. Like, even in cases of like rape, incest, murder, they want to ban abortion, so it's like, or like medical emergency. So there are probably radicals on both sides, but yeah, I don't think there's a lot of Democrats pushing, right, probably, for 8-month, 9-month, like, abortions where you actually kill the kid. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is a popular take. I don't even give a shit. Fuck you. Fuck my dick. Suck my dick. Ugh. I don't know where to go.
Or how many weeks into pregnancy you believe abortion should be banned.
Yeah, but I've given you the answer probably 4 times already.
Which one is it,
I'm looking at a solution that's going to work. Very complex issue for the country. And you have people on both sides of an issue. But we are now in a very strong position. Pro-life people are in a strong position to make a deal that's going to be good and going to be satisfactory for them. If you weren't able to get rid of, you wouldn't even be having a discussion, if you weren't able to get rid of Roe v. Wade, which put pro-life in a dead position, a horrible position. They could kill the baby at any time they wanted to, but we did something that nobody thought was doable. And other Republican presidents, and others, by the way, They wanted to get it out. They also wanted to bring it back to the states, but bringing it back to the states is a less important issue
But that's why
than
it's
the
the
issue
question
that we
about a
just talked
federal
about.
abortion ban. You
Well,
did not say yes or no to
It
that. You did
depends
not say how many
it depends
weeks.
what the deal is. Lindsey Graham's
did not
a
say
good
how many
man.
weeks.
He's got an idea, and a lot of other people have an idea. And I look at all the
And
different
a lot of
ideas,
people will
and
be
I'll make
curious
the,
what
I'll
your
make the right
idea is
decision.
on that. President Trump, we've got more questions to come for you tonight. We'll
make
be
the right
right back
decision.
in just a moment. Welcome back to CNN's Republican Presidential Town Hall with former President Donald Trump. President Trump, I'd like you to meet Jennifer Simmons. She is a stay-at-home mom and former town selectman from Wyndham. She's a Republican, and she voted for you in 2020.
Holy
Jennifer,
shit,
what's your
Wyndham.
question tonight?
Good evening,
Timeshare?
Mr. President. Title 42 is expected to expire tomorrow. Our southern border and now our northern border are experiencing record migration.
We're gonna
We
work.
learned on May 2nd that the Biden administration plans on deploying 1,500 troops to the southern border. Do you agree with deploying troops to the border, and how will a Trump administration slow down the rate of migrants coming across all our borders?
Sure. A very fair question, especially since tomorrow is going to be a day of infamy. You're going to have tens of thousands of people pouring into our country. Even the judge, the judge overruled them when they wanted to terminate it early. And he said, that you better extend this thing. The judge in Texas said, I hope you're going to extend this, but this is my policy that they're letting terminate because they lost in court. They wanted to go earlier. You're going to have millions of people pouring into our country right now at a level that nobody's ever seen before. These people are sick. Anybody that wants this to happen to our country, they're destroying our country, and this should not be allowed to happen. How they're not going to do a version of Title 42 or my Title 42, which was tough. If people are sick and have infectious diseases and lots of other problems, we don't want them being into our country. We have enough problems right now. We have problems like we've never had in the history of our country.
Fuck you.
But Mr. President,
our country
the
is
reason
being
it's ending,
destroyed.
The reason it's ending is because the health policy, the COVID era pandemic emergency, is coming to an end. That's what Title 42 was. You put it in place because
That's
of COVID.
true, but
when it comes to big questions about what your immigration policy would look like if you are reelected, some of your Republican rivals have criticized you for not fulfilling the promises that you made on the campaign trail, like finishing the border wall. So how did voters know that you would get those done if you're reelected?
I did finish the wall. I built a wall. I built hundreds of miles of wall, and I finished it. And then I said, we have to build some more because there are areas like water going through a dam. There are some areas where a lot of people
that whole
come.
time.
You close up one, and they come into another. And we started another 100 miles of wall. In fact, I said to my people, if we start this and don't finish it, and then we had a rigged election. I'm sorry to say it.
The election was not rigged, Mr. President. You can't keep saying that all night long.
And so then they took over and they
rigged.
decided not to finish it. It would have taken them 3 weeks. I built hundreds of miles of wall. If we didn't have it, it would be hard to believe it could be any worse. They're just letting people flow into our country. Look, a country has to have borders. There's never been anything like that is happening to our country right now.
You built about 52 miles of new wall when you were in office, Mr. President. It wasn't the complete wall. One other thing that with
No, but I have to
immigration,
respond to that.
with your immigration, it was only about 52 miles of new wall.
This is what she does. I built hundreds of miles.
Fuck, he's
Some
so
of the
good. I don't
walls
even know,
up
dude.
there
I don't know.
would be laying on the ground, rusted, rotten steel, rusted, rotten wood, and what the radical left crazy Democrats did, if there's a piece of wood laying down, they consider that a wall. I built 30-foot walls that go down 7 feet into the ground. If there was a little piece of wood sitting in the ground, they said, oh, he's not building a wall. We already had a wall. Because this is the game. They're a party of disinformation.
It's not a game, Mr. President. It's about 52 miles of new wall. One other immigration policy you
I
had
built
when you were in office.
I built new wall.
52 miles
for
according
hundreds
to
of miles.
CBP, Mr.
What I did is I
President.
replaced other wall that was laying down, that was up and rotting in the ground for 30 years. Some of it was steel that you couldn't even
Mr. President,
see.
it was only about 52 miles of new wall, but moving on, another immigration policy you had was the zero-tolerance immigration policy that separated families at the border. If you are reelected, are you ruling out instituting that?
Well, when you have that policy, people don't come. If the family hears that they're going to be separated, they love their family. They don't come. So I know it sounds harsh, but if you remember they said I was building prisons for children. It turned out that it was Obama that was building
But
the
would you
prisons for the
re-implement
children.
that if you're re-elected? Is
Well,
that what you're saying?
we have to save our country, all right? We
So it
can't
sounds like
afford,
that's a yes.
No. When you say to a family that if you come, we're going to break you up, they don't come. And we can't afford to have any more. Look at New York City. Look what's happening. They're living in Central Park in New York City. The city is being swamped. Los Angeles is being swamped. Iowa is being swamped. Our whole country is being destroyed. Millions of people are coming into our country. And you know what the number is going to be, in my opinion, by the end of the year? Not the 4 million that you hear and the 3 million. I think it's going to be 15 million people. And in these people, they have no idea where they come from. They come from 129 different countries so far. 120, not just the 4 that we talked about.
Just to put a button on that, it sounds like what you're saying is that you're not ruling out re-implementing that immigration policy. I want to get to anotanother voter. Caitlin Boissonneau is a student here at St. Anselm College. She's a Republican. This will be the first election that she has voted in. What's your question for the president, Caitlin?
Hello, President Trump.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it.
I don't know if we need it right now.
No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this would never have happened. And all those dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now, here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20.
Hold on. Fuck. I don't know if that's true. Wait. How? I feel like the United States will have a huge economy. For the European Union. Sorry, that was really loud. European Union economy. I know without the UK, it's probably not as high, and I know Norway is a really rich country though with small investments, but like GDP. EU, what is this? EU PPP. I don't know what that means. Do I need to look up what this means? Probably. This shows the European Union much smaller. But you just give me numbers, so here we go. Hold on. Yeah. Like generally we're still quite a bit larger. No? US GDP. 23. Fuck, I can't read numbers that big. Fuck with my brain. I don't know. It's probably not that much off as I thought it was. Actually, pretty relatively
You don't have to
close.
know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended NAFTA and replace it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have been invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax #1 when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So I happen to like. So I happen to like. Yeah, that's right. And I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that. You were impeached over that. But let's stay on topic here, Mr. President, because the question is, would you give Ukraine weapons
I was
and funding?
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy Pelosi.
But the question here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were elected?
I would sit down.
Oh, fuck. Wait, where am I?
If I'm president, I will have
Okay,
that
this is
war
fine.
settled in 1 day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in 1 day?
That's a tough claim. There's no shot that I don't know.
Meet with Zelensky.
Shit.
They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be
Do
absolutely
you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it
What
settled.
the fuck?
So stop killing all these people and breaking down this.
What do you? Can I just follow up on that? You
But
said
one
you
of the
don't think in
things you have
terms
to
of
do is
winning
you
and
have to get
losing.
the- you have
Mr.
to get
President, can I
Europe-
just follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that you
just
just
follow
made
up.
there.
Shit.
Can you say if
So
you want
fucking
Ukraine
stupid.
or to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win.
You know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and they should be, and they should equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO. When I sat down, I got them hundreds of billions of dollars.
Why can't I grab the
under Obama and Bush and all of these other presidents? That's why they're able to help them fight the war because of the money I got. But I
let's
want
talk about
Europe.
what's happening in
Excuse
Ukraine,
me.
Mr.
I want
President.
Europe to put up more money because they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
When it comes to what's happening there, when you were in office, you said that you.
What the fuck? This game sucks.
He made a tremendous mistake. He was a smart guy, you know. I remember I said he was smart, she was smart. They
What
said
was his
he
mistake?
said President Xi of China, right? Is smart. Okay, 1.5
Jump!
billion
Oh,
people.
you
He's the
fucking
ruler of
asshole.
1.5 billion people.
Fucking
He's a smart
asshole.
guy. How dare he say he's smart? Of course he's smart. They want you to say he's a stupid person. Okay, he's not a stupid person. He's very smart. He's very cunning. And Putin made a bad mistake, in my opinion.
What was his
It
mistake?
Why?
his mistake
Fuck,
was going
won't he
in.
jump
He
higher?
never got in
I don't
as
understand.
president. We used to talk about it, though.
Do you believe he is a war criminal? Do you believe that Putin is a war criminal? He's responsible for the deaths of thousands
Well,
of
I think
Ukrainian
this.
men
I
and
think
women
it's
and
something that
children.
should not be discussed now. It should be discussed later. Because right now we have to get a war. If you say he's a war criminal, it's going to be a lot tougher to make a deal to get this thing stopped. Because if he's going to be a war criminal, where people are going to go and grab him and execute him, he's going to fight a lot harder than he's fighting, you know, under the other circumstance. That's something to be discussed at a later date.
Shit, okay.
Right now, we want to get that war
Fucking
settled.
goodness.
And I'm
He's-
not talking
he's
about
probably a
money
war
either.
criminal,
I'm talking
dude,
about
but-
all the lives that are being, the number of people being killed in that war. Is
He'd probably be
far
charged
greater
war
than
crimes,
you're
yeah.
hearing. When they blow up the city and those buildings come pouring down, and then they say 2 people were injured. No, hundreds and thousands of people are being killed, and we have to get that war settled.
We have more with former President Trump. Right after this, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with questions from voters right after that. Welcome back.
I don't actually think Putin
Republican
would be
presidential
charged with
town-
war crimes. I think there would be a treaty, and he would be protected by it, probably. It'd be some World War I type shit. I don't know. That's tough, because the war probably won't end in a Russian victory, I don't think, at this point. And it probably won't win, like, a Ukrainian victory, if you want to call it that. It'll probably end in, like, some sort of stalemate type. Where Ukraine might get a little bit of what they want. Russia probably is going to get a little bit of what they want. It's probably just, I mean, there's not a better solution than that, I don't think. You can say you want Ukraine to return to their 1990 borders, but I don't know. It's going to be very difficult. Russia's already invested so much into it, and I don't think the West wants to kind of embarrass them, you know, push them into a corner, but I could be wrong. I mean, you know, maybe they do want to do that. At this point, Russia can't do shit, really. If they can't even beat Ukraine, like, they're not scary. They're honestly a joke on the world stage. And should be laughed at, honestly, but, you know.
That you're facing. We talked about others at the top, but what is the special counsel's investigation into classified documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago? Why did you take those documents with you when you left the White House?
I had every right to under the Presidential Records Act. You have the Presidential Records Act. I was there, and I took what I took, and it gets declassified. Biden, on the other hand, he has 1,850 boxes. He had boxes.
Dude, if Russia didn't have nukes, we would end them in a second. Okay, we could walk into Russia in 30 seconds and it would be over if they didn't have nuclear weapons. I don't even know how many of their nukes they can like fully operate, to be honest. They seem super incompetent. They seem like they're using like old technology. It's really put into perspective how incompetent like the modern Russian military is. We've kind of always known how like useless Russia is, but now it's kind of clear. Modern Russia is no better, so.
Sent to Chinatown, where they don't speak even English in that Chinatown we're talking about.
Can I got to stop you right there,
because nobody talks about him, they talk about us. Just so you understand, I had every right to do it. I didn't make a secret of it. You know, the boxes were stationed outside of the White House. People were taking pictures of the GSA of the various people.
I got to stop you right there, though, because the Presidential Records Act, which is not well known to a lot of people, I read it. It does not say that you can take documents with you. It says actually that they are the property of the federal government.
It says you talk, you negotiate, you make a deal. It's not criminal, by the way. The Presidential Records Act is not criminal. And just so you know,
it does not say you can negotiate to take the documents with you.
Can I tell you? Just so you understand, the Presidential Records Act is not criminal. I took the documents. I'm allowed to. You know who else took them? Obama took them. Nixon took them. Reagan took them. Oh, he didn't?
The difference here that I'd like to note.
Reagan
National
took them.
Archives says that President Obama
even Jimmy
did not
Carter,
take
even Mike Pence had some documents, and he's a very honorable guy.
Are they always standing up?
Took them more than
Shit.
is Joe Biden. He has 1,800 boxes, and nobody even knows where they are. 1,800. And nobody talks about him.
Mr. President,
and they put a rough guy on us, and they, in the meantime, they have nobody. I think it's important, Mr. President,
to actually set the record straight here. They took documents, including Vice President Pence. When they realized they had documents, they turned them back over. The difference is that you waited to turn yours over, and it was a year-and-a-half effort that included a subpoena with those documents. One question about what happened when you had those documents. It included a raid on my house. That's what it included. But you'd gotten a subpoena and they had not been turned over yet.
They didn't raid Biden's house. You know what happened? They put him in the house. That's the one with the Corvette where the documents were laying all over the floor. That was fine. And you know who happens to be at Mar-a-Lago? Secret Service, and they're phenomenal. What? I have Secret Service. He didn't have Secret Service. The other thing, the vice president cannot declassify. He didn't have the right to declassify. He has documents from when he was a senator, and even Democrat senators say, I can't believe it. No, I went by the Presidential Records Act, and we were negotiating with NARA.
That's not what it says,
and NARA has red-flagged a thing called the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights because they consider them dangerous documents.
Mr. President, that's not what it says, and I should note that there is a special counsel investigating your document situation, also President Biden's document situation. When it comes to your documents, did you ever show those classified documents to anyone?
Not really. I would have the right to. By the way, they were declassified after. Not that I can think of. Let me just tell you, I have the absolute right to do whatever I want with them. I have the right. I was negotiating with NARA. Do you know what NARA is?
The National Archives.
Extremely left group of people. Extremely left. And I was negotiating with them. All of a sudden, they raided my house. They didn't raid the house of Joe Biden. They didn't raid Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like you did.
And so that's the question. 1,850 boxes.
But that's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
shit.
Why you held on to the documents?
I was negotiating, and we were talking to NARA, that's Washington, to bring whatever they want. They can have whatever they want. When we left Washington, we had the boxes lined up on the sidewalk outside for everybody. People are taking pictures of them. Everybody knew we were taking those boxes. And the GSA, the government service, the GSA was the one taking them. They brought them down to Mar-a-Lago. We were negotiating with NARA. All of a sudden, they raid our house. When Biden had his documents, he won't give back the 1,850 boxes. And you're going to find some real gems in there.
But it was Biden who alerted them that he had the documents. The National Archives reached out to you to get your documents back. Why did you not turn them over when you got a subpoena asking for you to turn them over?
We were negotiating with them as per the Presidential Records Act. We were negotiating with.
I'm pretty sure at the beginning of this interview, by the way, he said that he knew her. She was a lovely person. No, and then now she's like a very nasty person.
Very nice people. We were negotiating.
It's kind of weird. Maybe misquoting that.
Presidential Records Act says
Relatively, as you
Richard Nixon, surprisingly, had problems, and he had a lot of problems dealing with NARA, and they ended up passing legislation called the Presidential Records Act just for this kind of a thing. We were dealing with them. We were talking. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Wait. We were talking to them. We would have done it, but all of a sudden they raided the house. Now, why hasn't the FBI raided Biden?
But I just explained to you why. No. It's because he's the one. They alerted the government that they had those documents and had them come and get the documents from his house. My question for you, though, when it comes to documents, do you still have any classified documents in your possession?
Are you ready?
Do you?
No, I don't have anything. I have no classified documents. And by the way, they become automatically declassified when I took them. But
no, you have to declassify
Let me ask you a question. Why is it that Biden had 9 boxes in Chinatown? And he gets a lot of money from China. Why is that? And why aren't people? Why aren't people bringing that up? And why don't they put this guy Jack Smith and his group of thugs? Why don't they put him in charge of that?
I need to stop you right there because there's no evidence of what you just said there. What you're referring to there is an office that he had after leaving the vice presidency. He had a temporary office. But I want to ask you about another investigation that you're facing.
You don't know the subject.
I do know the subject.
He had one at University of Pennsylvania. But he also had 9 boxes in Chinatown
that you're facing, which is the one that's happening in Georgia, where they are investigating your efforts to overturn the election results in the state of Georgia.
I did nothing wrong. It was a perfect phone call.
Let me finish my question. At the center of that is that call that you had with the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger.
Yeah, sure.
Given the fact that there are indictments expected to come in that case this summer, is that a call you would make again today?
Yeah, I called questioning the election. I thought it was a rigged election. I thought it had a lot of problems. I had I guess he's Secretary of State. I called, listen to this. There are like 7 lawyers on the call, many of them from there. We're having a call, we're having a normal call. Nobody said, oh, gee, he shouldn't have said that. Why? If this call was bad, I questioned the election.
If this call was bad,
ask him to find anything.
We've heard the audio tape, Mr. President. There's an audio of you asking him to find you 11,000
I said, you owe me votes because the election was rigged. That election was rigged. And if this call was bad, why didn't him and his lawyers hang up? How dare you say that? This was a perfect
Well, they were clearly concerned enough. They recorded the call, and I should note that, of course...
This was a call that was made to question the results of election. And when we can't make a call to question election results, then this country ought to just forget about it.
You weren't just questioning the election results.
Forget about it.
To find you votes. And I should note that there is no evidence of fraud. There is no rigged election in the state of Georgia. I want to get back to the audience, though, Mr. President, because those are false claims you're making about what happened in Georgia. Jordan Tullenberger is here. He's an undeclared voter from Hollis. He voted for you in 2020. Jordan, what is your question for President Trump tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Didn't he just say he wouldn't talk about
election fraud? I help manage a private aviation company.
You want a job?
I'd love one, yeah.
I'm looking for somebody very good.
I'm not for mandates or government interference in private business, but I've seen Republicans going after us like DeSantis after Disney.
Right.
What would you do as president to protect us from government interference?
Well, I'm the one that really wants to protect you. All of these fake investigations of me are about election interference. They think because I'm leading Biden by 11 points, 7 points, 9 points, I'm leading DeSanctimonious by a lot.
Stop the fucking DeSanctimonious. It's so
I think
cringe.
he ought to just relax and take it easy and think about the future, because right now his future is not looking so good. I will tell you this. we are really
It's
putting
gonna be
it to
close. I
Biden.
don't know.
But he's putting it to himself because the economy stinks, inflation is horrible, and the border is a disaster. And by the way he got out of Afghanistan was the single most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
Mr. President, I have one more question for you here tonight, and I think while we're in front of the voters here in New Hampshire, this is a fundamental question for you. You are running in the 2024 race. If you are the Republican nominee and you are in that 2024 race, will you commit tonight to accepting the results of the 2024 election?
Yeah, if I think it's an honest election, absolutely, I would.
Will you commit to accepting the results of the election regardless of the outcome?
You want me to answer it again? If I think it's an honest election, I would be honored to. And right now, we are so far ahead of both Democrat and Republican. And you know what? If I don't win, this country is going to be in big trouble. It's so sad to see what's happening.
But no commitment there on the accepting the results regardless of the outcome.
If it's an honest election, correct, I will.
Okay, so not committing to accepting the 2024 election results or acknowledging what happened in 2020.
Go ahead.
President Trump, I want to thank you for coming here tonight. This is an important conversation with voters to hear and to have. Thank you to our audience and to our host, St. Anselm College.
Damn, that's fast.
With Anderson Cooper and Jake Tapper.
Send not quick. Why did I just do that?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Katie. Good job. Thank you, Katie. Thank you very much. I like you guys. We love New Hampshire. Thank you, Winnie. Good luck, Winnie.
Thanks, everyone.
We're looking there at St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire. Tonight's CNN Town Hall, moderated by Caitlin Collins. The first of the 2024 presidential campaign is now in the books. Good evening from New York.
Cool. I think he did an okay job. A lot of what I heard, why the fuck can I not get back up there? A lot of what I heard was that, like, oh my gosh, Trump just rolled her. I feel like she just let him get away with a lot of stuff. Like, if they had more time, probably, he should have been pressuring the crap out of him on, like, every point and every question. We probably couldn't do that. So, I don't know if it's her fault, but I guess it's always gonna get blamed for it. So maybe it is her fault. That's why I couldn't get out of there. A second to go. Nice. Hey, that's him. Shit. Shit. Nah, we cooking for real. Okay. Oh, that was just sound effects I was turned in the whole time. Okay. Let's scroll the old YouTube for just a minute. See if we got anything good. My YouTube is always good, so. Let's watch an Optimus video. I haven't watched an Optimus video since I was fucking 12 years old, okay? I was like 14.
Everybody, welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today...
What the fuck do I do? Fuck, let me do my shit. Can I not?
I am making what is probably my most important video of all time. Now, I've been saving this one...
Fuck.
For a long time, because, you know, there's been so many different things that have happened over
There
the
you go,
years,
hold on.
so many different stories that we've covered here on the channel, so many different major, I would say, news stories in general, just like in, you know, the mainstream media. And through all these different things, it never really felt like it was the right time to actually sit down, break this all down, and just kind of talk about this, right? And I know that on YouTube they have a lot of, I would say, guidelines as well, really kind of more about preventing you from saying and talking about certain things. And honestly, I'm at this point, man, where I don't even really mind that, you know? Like, I know that YouTube has, like, certain words and phrases that I'm probably gonna end up saying in this video or the follow-up video to this one that, truth be told, could get my channel blacklisted, could
We'll decide if we watch the follow-up based on how good this one is.
ruffled enough feathers talking about these topics. But, you know, I've been thinking about it, and I've been making videos on YouTube for years now, right? I have, this is what? I mean, on this channel alone, my 11th year of uploading content, and, I mean, truth be told, man, it's been a good run, so if something was to happen to me based on me making these videos, talking about this stuff, then so be it. But truth be told, like I said, I've been waiting to make this video for a while for what I kind of deem to be the right time, and I just can't wait anymore. I mean, we're at a point in time where it's, I feel like, very fundamentally important for Americans to open their eyes to these things and to talk about these things and to really start having the uncomfortable conversations I think we don't have enough. I mean, American society has been, in recent years, becoming so much more divided and so much more, you know, based on fringe ideas and politics. And it seems like the longer that time goes on, man, the worse that it gets, the worse that Americans mentally get towards one another, right? I mean, you've been seeing all these news stories recently where people are, you know, shooting kids that walk in their yard because they're trying to pick up a ball they were playing with, or shooting people because the kids next door are playing hide and seek, or someone pulled their car in their driveway to turn around, right? Like, it just seems like as time goes on, the world is getting more and more fucked up, and like the things that we see on a daily basis are just becoming more and more fucked up. And people, you know, have a lot of different ideas as to what's causing these things. Oh, there's too many guns in society, or we're not treating mental health good enough, or the government is creating these issues to divide people and scare us.
I'm on up there. I don't even think I gotta go up there,
Whatever
right?
your personal beliefs on these things are, I think we can all agree that we really do have a problem in this country. And the longer that time goes on, we see it seems like more just insane shit happening from people. I mean, imagine seeing like a mass casualty incident at a school or something 40 years ago. That would have been like standstill news that like shook the entire country. But now, I mean, there could be 4 mass shootings at schools in the same day across the country, and 2 of them might get drowned out because they have a lower casualty count or happened in, you know, a smaller community. People wouldn't even give a fuck. Like, that's how crazy it's gotten in the world that we live in today. I mean, I know people don't want to admit it, but the elites are really in control of these things, and if they're not directly in the
They're in control of mass shootings.
they are just allowing shit like this to happen just to continue control over people. And it really comes down to people like George Soros and all these other extremely wealthy and rich individuals, mostly billionaires, that are lobbying in politics and, you know, basically using their money in the political system for power, right? Like, just actually purchasing politicians and buying them out. People just don't understand, like, that we all, like, the 99.9% of people that don't have $1 billion or generations of their family that have been influential in the American system, right? Like, for the people like us that didn't have that advantage, we never could imagine actually having influence over the political system that dictates the outcome of our lives, right? They tell us, oh, you can vote and all these other things, but in all reality, man, these are just complete facades set up to troll people into believing they have power. Your votes don't matter because the people you vote into office and actually put in with your quote-unquote voice in the system end up just getting bought and paid for by the people that you're basically trying to fight against.
I'm not watching
like
this.
I said, we've gotten to a...
Yeah, the solution to that, by the way, is just to elect better people, okay? A lot of the shit that's like, there's a whole conspiracy and we're being controlled and whatnot is kind of true in terms of like corporatism. Like, yeah, there's probably a handful of companies that can buy politicians and they control like certain interests, and a lot of those are probably economic and not social and not political. Well, I guess political and economic, but like probably not as so many social things, you know. Yeah, there's probably some personal bias. There's probably sometimes that someone that is very rich can go and can call up their bought and paid for politician. But there's also times where, like, on the local level, if you're just an active member of political society for a good portion of your life, or you start young in doing it, you can probably, a real video, you can probably start to influence politics on like a very small, minute, micro level, and then as time goes on, like work that up, like start getting in touch, emailing your local politicians. You can invite them out for lunch. You can go to their rallies and meetings and talk to them afterwards, right? Not even for like mayors and stuff. You can do that for like any sort of political level. You can do that for like local judges, and your like local sheriff stuff. Like you can start to slowly kind of advance politics, your school board meetings and stuff, right? As long as you keep trying to like level that up. So like you can influence politics in terms of your direct life, right? But the whole our lives are being controlled is just not. I don't think it's very true. And if you're worried about that and you want to stop like corporatism, which probably is a problem in America, you just need to learn how to elect better people. Just don't elect people that are going to get bought out. Doesn't mean elect millionaires, because millionaires don't always make the best politicians. Okay, that's going to Donald Trump. But it means elect people that are like honest, okay, and can equate with your values. You know, people that have a track record of doing the right thing, people that have a track record of doing actually voting and how they stand for and whatnot, not being so flip floppy. I think so. Yeah. Let's find a better YouTube video. Biden corruption, media lies. I learned to fly a plane. Is that real? Is that real? Is it fake? Did I really want to play Jedi Survivor? I'm gonna wait though. I'm gonna wait a minute before I play it because I think it would be better. Ah, shit, did I lose that video? There was a video that I saw, and I'm trying to look for it now. I think I... Shit. Let me refresh YouTube. See if it pops up again. Fuck, that pisses me off. Shit. Some of these look like they could be an interesting... I do not want to watch that shitty video. I need an ad break. In a minute. Oh, that's what that was, probably. Holy shit, wait, that looks so fucking cool. Hold on. I want to work out tonight.
Is more damaging for like women to engage in casual sex than it is for guys, because guys can separate themselves from that emotional investment. If women were
Holy
more,
shit.
if they have a higher propensity for sexual revulsion or sexual disgust, I should say.
Look at his fucking hands.
Anyways,
He's tweaking.
The conclusion I'm coming to in this instance, and I'm not saying they are, but it's that the emotional investment.
I don't know if I can show him on this guy on Twitch, okay, because he's banned technically, but
you know, having big hit babies and all
fucking kidding me? This looks like such an interesting stream. I don't know where I am right now, to be honest.
When they are pair
I'm gonna
bonding,
die.
when they're having sex,
Okay, gotcha.
that the emotional investment is more so, whereas
Oh,
for men it's not.
I see what I was doing. Yeah.
What's the name of that study?
It's here, I'll give it to you.
That's interesting because I thought I heard when you guys were on that whatever show, I thought you guys were saying that men had a much higher internal revulsion to certain women related to body count. That was like stronger than.
I think it's internal revulsion. I think what we're talking about before is like if a woman gets non-contextual. David Luss talked about this on my podcast. When women get non-contextual pictures of a man's penis, they tend to be like grossed out by it. Whereas nobody, like a really nice set of boobs, nobody's really offended by that. It's a different type of sexual revulsion. Does that make sense? Like
that is true. Here's something I really like tested. I'm actually super curious, especially hearing you guys fucking talk. I'm curious if men actually like pictures of vaginas, or if you actually need to see like a full woman, because like
interesting.
Guys will say shit like
I don't know. That's interesting.
well, yeah, because guys like we'll say this shit all we'll say this shit all the time. Where we'll be like, oh, women don't like to receive dicks, but guys love to receive nude pictures. That's a very particular thing, though. If a I'm curious, if a woman
nude body,
yeah, exactly. Because if a woman went around on Twitter and she like spread her vag open and took a picture of that,
like that,
and it's maybe some, but some women also like
they all have the same upside down.
I'm saying, I think it's interesting because if you were to send a guy, if you were to ship a bunch of random girls like topless pics of like a really attractive man, my guess is most of them are probably like, oh, you know, okay.
I don't think they'd be aroused by it. Like this is just what I've heard because I have tons of female friends too. What would happen is if you sent a bunch of pictures of attractive women to me, and it was non-contextual and I had no knowledge of them whatsoever, I would look at the pictures and be like, damn, she's hot, or okay, that's cool. I wouldn't be offended. If you sent a bunch of penises to random women non-contextually of men that they did not know or were not attracted to, those women would be like, what the fuck is this?
Penises, yeah, but what about the full bodies?
Well, maybe the full bodies.
Because
but
remember
I
earlier
don't
when we
think the
argued
women
about
would be
that
as
ovarian
aroused.
cycle stuff, you can sample women and get them to rate guys differently and attractiveness based on like facial features, based on muscular development, based on height and everything.
Shit.
So I think women would be relatively
Fuck.
probably by similar.
I didn't think about saving.
Comparison is like a dick, which is usually taken the least flattering angle, no shave.
I was paying attention to their conversation.
Like a whole beautiful woman body.
I think not relative to men. I think men would be more aroused by non-contextual pictures of naked women than women would be aroused by non-contextual. When I say non-contextual, men you don't know. Non-contextual photos of naked men, penis or no penis.
I'm curious. I don't know. I don't actually know. I'm curious about that.
My
guess is you're probably right, but not by very much. I bet it's pretty close.
Being the old guy in the manosphere, I remember when Roosh actually was, you know, when he still had his wits about him. One time he put together this collage of the types of vaginas that were out there. And it was just one shot, one cooter shot after the next, and it was like probably one of the most disgusting. Like it was the first time I think that he turned off people by just putting out this pictures of body parts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because remember earlier, what'd you guys say? You know, which calendars sell the most? It's the attractive dudes, right? Women are literally and that's non-contextual, just like attractive men, right?
I gotta admit to you, I don't know exactly where the study comes from. I know it's at the end of Rich Cooper's book, and it talks about 71% of female attraction towards men comes from upper body muscle, and it's a V shape. It's a V taper. So, and one of the ways to do that is by men losing weight, so their waist gets smaller, and then also their shoulders get wider. There's another study.
That makes sense evolutionarily because part of the secondary sexual characteristic development between men and women are men tend to develop more muscle mass in their upper body. And women don't. It's one of our biggest differentiators. That's why if you do that little test where you lean over to pick up a chair, women can pick up the chair, but men can't, because when a man is bent over, he's got more muscle on the top of his body, and a woman has it on the bottom right. So that makes sense.
So
of course. Like for men, they're attracted to like body shape of like the exact opposite. They want to see like a big waist and hips or whatever. Right.
So it is a 0.72. This comes from the '89 study. A 0.72 hip to waist ratio for women, and for men it is a 1.65 to 1 shoulder to waist ratio for men. That women.
I actually don't.
And the thing that you talked about before, the biggest dimorphic difference between men and women is not height. It is upper body muscle, and the second biggest difference is lower body muscle. Men are 90% stronger in their upper body, and somewhere between 50 and 60% stronger in their lower body than women are. And the reason why is because men throughout history have competed with other men, competed with other apex predators, and for the access to women. And that's the reason why men are more competitive, and this is also the reason why men die at 72 and women die at like 78 or something like that.
So what would stand to reason that women would be sexually selecting those particular men and find those attributes arousing?
I think that's one of the things, and I think we're just arguing the different percentages. I think one of the things that women find attractive, there are some times where I meet a woman and she's just like, you're 6'1" and you have, you know, you're muscular and I'm just attracted to you because you're brown, and that's it. And there's sometimes where I meet a woman who's like, you're kind of fucking weird, and then I start talking about like astronomy and shit, and they're like, okay, you're kind of attractive now. Like, so women differ, but for men, all of us who
never talk about astronomy.
Look at fucking Margot Robbie and Wolf of Wall Street and be like, that woman is attractive. They all look at fucking Selma Hayek and Dust Till Dawn. That woman is attractive. We as men do not differentiate on what we find attractive as much. But for women, they do. There's some women, tattoo sleeves. I would fuck that guy in 2 seconds. Tattoo sleeves. I would never touch a guy with tattoo sleeves. Women differentiate. Men do not.
I mean, I'll say this. We got almost 23,000 watching right now, right? To talk about, you know, the complex nature of female attraction. Do you think women are staying up late to figure out what men are attracted to with 20,000 plus people watching? They don't give a shit.
There's no show right now. It's like with Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, like, hey, let's figure out how to get this.
They don't give a shit, bro. Which is why y'all need to go ahead and get my book, Why Women Deserve Less, of course.
Hey, isn't that book only 75 pages?
It
is because women deserve less.
That is a very nice cover.
They didn't
Where did that
even
cover
deserve
from?
enough to get 100 pages. That's how little women deserve.
For helping me create the cover.
Learn all about Tom, Dick, and Harry and everything.
Very nice cover.
Yeah. Go get the book, guys. I don't know. Do we have the chat or? Yes. Okay, I'll read two, and then we'll get back to it. And okay, John here goes, Destiny, is it true that a man will miss 100% of the shots that he does not take? But you can't deny that not all shooters are built the same. A handsome man would most likely have a higher success rate versus an uglier man. Women are more into attraction traits. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you're disagreeing with that.
I won't, but I'll say that the less attractive man that tries is going to do dramatically better than the more attractive man that
saying volume is the biggest determining factor.
It's choice. Ultimately, it's choice.
He's saying volume is the biggest determining factor.
Which is fine, but now you guys are all agreeing this now, but I hear you guys, Rolo especially, say things like, oh, that sounds like blank slate.
Wait, are you talking to me? You're talking about me?
Well, like in general, I know I've heard Rolo say blank slate on it. That sounds like blank slate, that everybody can just try and do whatever they want.
When me and you debate, we can talk about this. Okay, fine. Because I'm moderating right now.
Okay,
So I would like to know what in particular.
Should we reject testimony-based studies and stats are hearsay? I propose that authors in the RP are providing these truths and observations. Great debate, fellas. Everyone helps Nico to see.
Shit. What the fuck happened to my double jump?
What other so we covered a bunch of topics.
Ah, fuck me.
We covered
You've been taking notes this whole damn time, so I'm proud of you.
You should write a second book.
Yeah.
Women deserve less.
Even more less. It's about why women deserve nothing.
Why women deserve lesser.
So we went over the vasectomy situation, the dual dating strategy, which Destiny disagrees with. We went over divorce, promiscuity. Anything that you guys want to have in?
We can, if you want, we can do divorce quick if you want. We didn't really go over it. We can if you want to.
We didn't. What is your argument on divorce?
I think men do way better than women after divorce.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll turn it to y'all.
Hold on.
I remember
one last thing I want to say about promiscuity before we go. I think on a micro level, you're correct that it does hurt men and women. On a macro level, Homo sapiens being horny helped the species procreate. So I think that's
men
where
pushing and women gatekeeping, largely speaking.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, of course.
So from a macro level, promiscuity was helpful. From a micro level, especially in today's society, especially after the agricultural revolution, which you ended up, promiscuity ended up causing a surplus of men, and so it was bad for society.
Yeah, our brains are just very, very, very complicated. So when you try to reduce anything down to a single variable, like we can study a single variable, how that actually plays on the real world is way more complicated, right?
So we'll transition to the last topic. Okay. This is actually, Destiny, of course, contrarian with the divorce. So you argue that divorce actually helps men more.
Statistically, yes.
Okay. All right, I'll turn it to you guys. You guys agree with that sentiment? Do you rebut that?
So I heard you guys argue about this before, and so the fact is, and the review, the number one refutation, not one number one, but one of them would be the nine times self-deletion rate that would happen for men. And that happens in a lot of cases because the man is zeroed out financially after the divorce. And part of that zeroing out can come because of the divorce.
Is it 9 times? Can I say the word? Do I really say deletion?
Say EPAR. Great.
Say suicide is fine.
Okay.
If you say like less than 10 times, we'll be all right.
Okay, gotcha. When we say that men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide, what is that in comparison to?
The general population, I believe it's wins against replacement. It's like
because I'm curious because like aren't men already like is it 5 times more likely to commit suicide than women?
It's anywhere between 4. Because if you're looking at like young men, it's like 4 times.
Hey,
it's really only
Aqua.
Right, but these are two different groups, right? This is the group of men in general, and then the group of men who are divorced.
Yeah.
And so that's different from what you're talking about. Those men who are likely to commit suicide. I was in the military. Some guy commits suicide every 22 minutes, something like that. It was or attempt suicide. The difference is that is a younger unmarried man, a man who has been married and is divorced, is over the age of 40 and has lost all of his money, is far more likely to commit suicide. So let's extrapolate.
Is it because of loss of money or is it because of loneliness? Because I think suicide is massively overrepresented in older cohorts.
So the thing is, it's the ability to start over and then to garner those resources, that sexual abundance, that financial abundance again. That would be the reason. And let's extrapolate. If it's 9 times more likely for them to commit self-deletion, then what about the ones that don't even attempt it but are still in like?
Well, so the question is, how are you losing everything?
What the fuck?
What does that mean? What does that look like?
Not losing everything, but like lose everything is one of the reasons why they would be more likely.
Yeah,
to
but I'm
commit
trying to think of how
suicide.
do you lose everything in a divorce?
Okay,
Like a worst case, you're losing 50% of.
I'm sorry. Let's go backwards.
Okay.
They lose everything, which then which is a leading cause for their wives to then.
Okay.
And so now what's happened is we've compounded the fact that the subprime mortgage crisis, or the Corona crash, or the crash of the invasion of Ukraine, those three crashes that have happened in the last 20 years. Then there's also flat.
I understand that, and if that's how you're presenting, I can agree with it. But like, my guess is going to be that like the suicide rate probably dramatically increases when children stop talking to their parents. But is it because they're making them kill themselves, or is it because parents have alienated themselves from their kids?
But not
right?
to 8 times the amount.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if there's research on that. Just curious, what is the year for this study? What is the population group that is studying?
The next time, you would know. I don't
Because I hear this one brought up a lot, but I should have looked this up.
I mean, you can Google it right now.
Fuck you.
Jamie, can we?
Okay, that's Chris.
Yeah, no.
Chris, what do you want to Google in particular?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'd like to see what population that's studying. Yeah.
So there's the first of all, it's the average.
The Jamie joke hit hard.
It's Journal of Men's Health. Hold on. Tori sent me this, by the way. Okay. Hold on. Just keep talking.
No, I was going to say the average just in general is anywhere between 3.5 and 5 times, depending on whose numbers you use.
Journal of Suicide?
General mental health.
Yes.
Divorced men are more susceptible to heart disease, high blood pressure, and strokes than married men are, in addition to being 39% more likely to commit the thing and then engage in risky behavior.
Well, that is true. That's measuring the benefits of marriage, not necessarily the downsides of divorce. Because men that get married compared to men that don't get married are less likely to commit crime and are generally, they have a longer lifespan and they fare better in terms of multiple health metrics.
Right. So the thing is, then let's stay married. But then the end of the marriage is generally caused by women, and then afterwards.
Yeah, but just because the woman is choosing divorce doesn't mean she caused the divorce. That's not necessarily true.
Okay.
Like let's say my girlfriend cheats on me, and then I'm like, oh, well, I'm breaking up with you. Like, did I cause the breakup?
Right.
So if women are choosing to get divorced, it doesn't mean that they're the ones that caused the relationship to fail. We don't figure out, like, well, what are the reasons why they choose?
I don't know.
Sure, that's really important, though, because we constantly say women are the ones that
I can throw out one more stat, though, is that the #1 precipitator of divorce is when that woman makes more money than the guy does. They start even, or they start he's making more, she gets a bump in.
So money's the #1 reason.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true. I've never seen that in any survey ever. I'd be interested in it. It could be true, but I've never seen that ever anywhere. So here are the metrics that I'm generally measuring, because I feel like suicide is like kind of that's like a one we can do, but it's a very, very niche population. So I think that men fare better than women in divorce because they tend to make more money. So I'm quoting from an article from The Atlantic in 2016. Despite the common perception that women make out better than men in divorce proceedings, women who work before, during, or after their marriages see a 20% decline in income when their marriages end. According to Stephen Jenkins, professor at the London School of Economics, his research found that men, meanwhile, tend to see their income rise more than 30% post-divorce. Meanwhile, the poverty rate for separated women is 27%, which is triple the figure for separated men. That's one thing. The second thing is they're more likely to remarry. Quoting from Pew Research, 64% of divorced or widowed men have remarried, compared to only 52% of previously married women. Another point 3 is they don't have the responsibilities of caregiving. I'm quoting from finding caregiving stats is actually really difficult, but it seems to be settled upon that 90% of parents will settle custody disputes without a judge. On average, women that get child support only get $286 a month. 80% of custodial parents in the U.S. are mothers. Only 4% of these child custody cases actually go to trial. And in 2017, full child support payments were only received by 46.4% of custodial mothers. So it seems like they've got a lot of extra responsibilities related to caregiving. Their income is down. They don't even get full child support all the time, and the child support they make is like pretty low. Point number 4 is if men choose to fight for custody, they oftentimes win it. The largest study I could find on this is an older one, but it was the only big scale one I could find, but it was from an old Massachusetts gender bias study, which was published in the New England Law Review. This was in 1990, and they said, we began our investigation of child custody aware of a common perception that there is a bias in favor of women in these decisions. Our research contradicted this perception. Although mothers more frequently get primary physical custody of children following divorce, this practice does not reflect bias, but rather the agreement of the parties and the fact that, in most families, mothers have been the primary caretakers of the children. Fathers who actively seek custody obtain either primary or joint physical custody over 70% of the time. The next point is that alimony is rare. Quoting from a legal blog, in the 60s, 25% of divorce settlements included alimony. Now it's like 10%, and it's starting to reverse more for men getting some alimony as women start to earn more. And then the divorce rate has been falling since the 90s, so I don't know why we even talk about this so much. But that's my broad point about divorce. I feel like it's hyped up a ton, but I don't think that men make out horribly in divorce in
rate
general.
falling in the 90s is because the marriage rate is at an all-time low right now. It tracks with
Well, that's fine, but then at least you're not having as many people. Well, sure, but yeah, I mean, at least you're not having as many people getting destroyed by divorce.
Is your argument that women fare better? Because I know what they're going to debate here. Is your argument that men fare better after divorce, or they just fare not as bad after?
My argument is that post-divorce, in the actual court proceedings, a woman might win a little bit more. But the reason why is because post-divorce, men are in a much better position than women who are in a much worse position. That even if you get like a little bit of alimony and child support, the fact that you're now a primary full-time caregiver for a child, you have no parental support, that your income is lower, your ability to remarry goes lower, and your poverty rate is much higher.
So you think women are actually worse off after divorce than men? That's your argument.
Yes.
Women are worse off.
Yes, in almost every measurable metric. I can't find it, except I guess maybe the suicide thing.
It says I looked it up just to be objective here. Number one cause of divorce. It says lack of commitment, but that's extremely broad.
Yeah, of course. Which just sucks because in relationships, a lot of it's right. Like, for instance, somebody could get divorced because somebody didn't take out the trash, right? But did they really? Or lack of sex. But lack of sex is never about lack of sex. It's usually because other shit is going on too, right?
Because lack of commitment can be finances too.
It could, it could be.
It's very broad.
Or it could be a partner gains weight, or it could be,
Could be any of that. So, did you guys have anything? So he's saying women fare better for
in every measurable metric, except for the suicide stat that I've never looked up before. I guess I should have. But
you guys have anything for that?
I'll text it to you. Yeah, we just got it right now. But it's we found the 9 to 1.
9 to 1 actually. It's 9 times the ratio now. It's.
But that also doesn't surprise me though. But I don't think. Oh yeah,
you guys have any arguments towards him that women fare? Because he's.
I would like to see more recent stats first of all, and then.
This is, to be fair, like this is not the hill I want to die on. I agree. I think divorce sucks for both people, and I do think
I agree with that.
Yeah, the suicide rate for men is definitely higher. As far as men out earning women, men out earn women in general, and so before there's a marriage and then afterwards as well. So. Yeah,
I agree with that, but I wish people would bring that up more because people are like, men always have to pay more after marriage. Well, yeah, because men are generally earning more, right? Yeah.
But I think where we differ a little bit is that I do think that because of the things that you just stated, that women are not all. You had the discussion before. I agree. Women do not get married thinking, "Fuck yes, I'm going to take all this guy's money." I do know some women who are like that, but it's very few, and they're usually super attractive women. They're gold diggers and just found the richest guy they could get.
Sure.
Borderline personality disorder. All right, and then but going a little further, they get into the marriage, and then there is a point where there's an inflection point where it's like I could stay, I could leave, and that money becomes an incentive for them to leave. I do think that does happen. I don't think that it's on their wedding day.
Money, but you always have
on their wedding day.
But as a married couple, you have access to all the money. Why would you leave and then get less?
Why would you leave and get like
if I'm married to a woman, we share our finances. It's a legal arrangement. Like we have to. If I leave, well, now I'm gonna fucking fight.
I do think men can withhold. We saw that soccer player who put all his money in his mom's name, and
no shot. If he did do that, there was a very big legal loophole. But like, this is such a deal that so here's something.
It doesn't work in the United States. You're right there.
Yeah, not to give too much advice to the horrible women. Is that like if you're a woman and you're trying to file for divorce and you don't have money to do it, the divorce lawyer will say, actually, contact your husband's lawyer because he has to give you the money for it. Because if you're still married, your finances are still joint finances, whether you like it or not.
I mean, by the way, that thing you just said is how you go broke. You both go broke. Divorce attorneys.
Sure. But again, like divorce attorneys, like the fighting, like even for the custody stuff, like 90% of custody disputes are settled without a judge even ever getting involved. Right. So it's really rare. Yeah. I guess the thing that I'm trying to point out is that like only 4% of child custody cases ever even go.
Suck my dick.
And that's of the child custody cases. So that's 4% of the 10%. They're very, 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 very rare. But it feels like the manosphere in general, like bases all of their discussion around like mom going to court, getting alimony and fighting for child support.
Could it be though that only 4% go to trial because of how expensive it is, and number 2, because they already know as a man the likelihood of them getting custody is lower.
But if they fight for it, and again, I am being fully honest.
I scratched my neck. I didn't give that much for shit.
Only big, nice study I could find was in the spring of 1990 in the New England Law Review, where they studied in Massachusetts. It seems like men who fight for custody get it over 70% of the time. Now, I've seen a stat floating around because there are a ton of legal blogs.
Why do you think it's hard to find?
It's hard to find because I don't know. There's not much research on it right now, but.
Okay, so here's the thing.
But I'm guessing a lot of this is probably like public roster stuff because divorce cases are public. Hey, again, if you guys want to fund research on this, I'll throw money at it. It'd be interesting.
Why is nobody funding this research?
Let's use an analogy. If I'm arraigned on murder charges, the likelihood of me taking this to trial is higher if I think I'm going to win and if I have the resources to fight it. the likelihood of me not taking it to trial and settling is the more likely that I believe that I'm not going to win the trial, and because I want leniency from the judge. So I might say the same analogy for these men. 4% of the time it goes to trial because they're told by both divorce attorneys, the man's and the woman's, bro, you're not going to win this shit. And he tells the woman, you are going to win this shit. So the likelihood of them going to trial may be biased by that.
There's a really, I don't know if you, I always suggest this. Whenever anyone brings up divorce, I always say, go watch Divorce Corp. That's a documentary that was done, like, I think it was 2014. It was like Dr. Drew Prinsky was the guy who funded the whole thing. And it's about the divorce machine. So it's like from the before you get married to when you get married to when you're on your way and you're getting divorced. Also, it covers prenuptial agreements, which is one of the reasons. Like, if you watch that, you will understand just how useless a prenuptial agreement is for the average person.
Why are they useless?
Because of what you said before.
They have to be updated all the time.
That's
and
true.
They also don't have anything to do with child support either.
True, but that's not useless. If you've got a lot of assets that you want to protect, the prenuptial agreement is really important. I know that people say, like, dang it, they're not all the time.
For the average person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for the
well, but even for the average person, I don't know if in general, because you're probably not gonna have that many assets. But the real reason is probably
it's really great. It's actually pretty entertaining.
Well, sure, but like again, I don't. It's an ideologically driven, probably. I'm guessing like documentary that's trying to push like.
Dr. Prinsky, I don't know.
Okay, sure. But again, I'm just looking at stats.
So it doesn't look like you guys have much disagreement with him on women don't fare as bad.
Well, I mean, I would say that it's first of all, the alimony. You got to remember that alimony laws in the United States, because we have to also take into account where if you go and you look at Europe and you look at the divorce rates over there, it's a whole different animal than it is here in the United States. So if you look at alimony laws in the U.S., a lot of them, depending on what it is they're founded on Depression era conditions, because back in the Dust Bowl in the the early 30s and stuff, when a guy was leaving his wife because he could no longer afford the family or whatever, that's why those particular laws were instated in the first place, and we're still hanging on to them as legacy laws right now, depending on the state, depending on what's going on. So you'll hear people will say, well, the woman's making more money, and so therefore the guy is now getting alimony in like this fraction of 1%. But those are the the sort of the what man bites dog.
Sure. Well, real quick. So according to the 2000 census in the U.S., 0.5% of alimony recipients in the U.S. were male. By 2010, that was 13 years ago, 3% of them were male. So it's probably a little bit higher now.
As women make more and more money,
yeah, exactly.
again coming into the thing.
Do you think that alimony as a concept is fair?
I think it used to be. I think it definitely needs reform from the 1930s
As long as we maintain this thing where it stops when she ges remarried.
That's why would she ever get remarried?
Yeah, I feel like that's a really weird incentive.
Yeah.
No, not an incentive. I'm just saying.
Well, no, because I'm saying because then she could just have like a boyfriend, and it's like, well, I'm not married, and she never actually marries the guy because the alimony would stop. That seems like I understand what you're saying though, but I think we broadly agree that like the concept of like I marry a woman, and I'm like, listen.
Oh, do I actually need to kill? Like, yeah.
She's like, okay, fine, and then at the end, they're like, actually, my secretary is way hotter than you. I'm dumping you. Bye. She should probably get something. And she's like, fuck me. I've like spent 15 years of my life and I get a fuck.
So I think it goes back to that whole ice and fire thing I was saying before. There's a bunch of guys that are worried about being taken advantage of, because men haven't been taken advantage of in divorce proceedings.
So with women in child rearing,
for sure. But who has more incentive in that sense?
The man. I would every man would say the same. Would you rather lose half your shit in divorce, or would you rather have a child that you are now the primary caretaker of for the next 18 years?
Way more than 18, trust me.
Sure, no, I know, but at the very least, before you kick him out, right? That's a way bigger burden. And people always say like, oh my god, I've got to pay child support. Child support on average was like less than $300 a week. Primary caregiver, kids don't want to fucking work. That's a huge sacrifice in career, huge sacrifice.
Blood ain't win the car. L. That's okay. My car's so fucking nice. It's so cool, and I love it. So suck my dick. I don't know what you drive. Probably a fucking Honda Civic. Okay. Yeah, you probably drive a fucking Toyota Prius, okay. So, actually, you probably don't even drive, you little pussy. So, you didn't come talk to me about a car. Okay, pal. What kind of car you got? Oh my gosh, DJ, you've never seen my car before? Brother. Brother. I'd take you for a ride one day, okay? Look up it's a Mazda RX-8. Clean as fuck, okay? Rotary engine. I ride a scooter? Yeah. Yeah, that's real. That's probably true, honestly. I don't even think you're lying about that. I think you genuinely might take a scooter to school every day. Just down the interstate. Like about 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you go to school often now? You an often visitor? I didn't even notice that shit was coming down. Shit my ass. Fuck you, cunt. Yeah, fuck you. Dude, why won't he move? I haven't missed a day since fall break. Damn. It's crazy. You should have been in the car drawing. I've missed so many days since then, to be honest. In fact, I didn't even go, not this last Friday, but the Friday before, so I don't even know how they put me in, but, you know. Clean. Your car is cool, but 3 Lambos are cooler? Yeah, fucking newsflash, I wouldn't have gotten 3 Lambos for winning the car drawing, okay? The fucking Dave Kirk car drawing. So... they would have been like, they would have probably told me you can have like a Trailblazer. Take it or leave it. And I would have been like, okay. I actually won $100, and I will take that any day of the week, okay? I got $100, and I got to see like all my friends, so... Honestly, you gotta be fucking shitting me. Why? Brother. Why put me back here? Nice. Goat. $100 is solid. Yeah, $100 for Walmart. Okay, listen to this, DJ. It was my birthday, right? It was my birthday on, what day was it? Friday? Yeah. And I got $100 from Walmart, okay? This is some upper class shit, ready? $100 from my grandparents, okay? $100 from my other grandparents, okay? And $100 from my parents. Plus, $70 from my dad. Fucking rich as shit, motherfucker, okay? That was also graduation money, too, though, so... you know. How do I save my... There we go. I always forget the button. It's crazy I'm this far into the game and I still can't remember how to actually save the game. How? Shit. Oh. I gotta be getting off this soon. So you gonna buy me some V-Bucks? Yeah. No. I'm gonna buy myself some V-Bucks, okay? Have you seen the new Fortnite Star Wars? Star Wars Fortnite?
The reason why we did that show in the first
Very hype. I also really want... Why did I do that? Hold on.
75% of divorces are initiated by women. Now, of course, the most popular response to that as well.
Yeah, so no shot, okay? Because I want to buy Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That game looks fucking awesome. Right. Okay.
What's the popular conception? Is that they're going to get 86% of the time they're going to get unless the guy fights.
Why did I do that?
Fight for it because he's got a divorce attorney saying don't fight for it because it's going to cost you X amount and you can't do it because of that money.
I think the popular conception is divorce humiliating. I don't think anybody wants to.
Correct. I'm curious if you were to look at this based on a woman, and obviously there's no way to really do this, but like age and physical attraction.
Hate this game.
A woman who's 32 is still really hot because
We're giving me achievements for this shit. I gotta go to bed. I gotta wake up at 6. Oh, you're not graduated yet. Oh my gosh, you're still in school like a little baby. Oh man, I feel bad. I almost feel bad. Oh, well, good night, buddy. You probably should have already been in bed right now. What time is it? It is 12:23. No, actually, that's a valid time to stay up to watch my stream. Shit. Illy? I don't know what the... Oh. I know what it means. Illy right back TVJ. Okay. Sorry. I forget that I'm Generation Z and not like a fucking boomer. Okay. What do I do here? Oh. Based. Do I get a new power? What do I get? Dash.
Whatever the next, divorce porn narrative is, so the perception is there that it's available. It's what's
that's cool. That's so cool.
What is it? Happy wife, happy life. That's not folk wisdom. That is an ultimatum right now. You better keep this bitch happy because if you don't, she's gonna take you to the clean. That's so. You're not. She's gonna hold out on you or whatever.
Oh, wait, can I use bash on him?
But again, I don't think that women go in like women's not going to go in to have get married just so she can go take this guy unless the guy is like with a lot of money.
Shit. That's not cool. How did he die? What a fucking idiot.
Okay, so anything you guys got before we close out?
Damn it.
I just got off an airplane and I'm delirious. I was trying to keep up with the last point.
I think I've been up for 36 hours right now. Because we really, by the way, thanks for coming. Because we really wanted to do this to the point where we were like rearranging flights so we could come out.
Sure. Yeah.
No, shout out to all you guys and shout out to Destiny for hanging out and Stingo for sneaking off.
He came with all the notes, man. Can I ask you a question? I can be completely off about this.
Whatever you want.
And please just tell me if I'm way off. Do you think that there's any chance that a certain segment of the openly homosexual men are going to leave the LGBT community because they don't feel like it represents them?
I think there's a huge issue. I think there's a lot of the trans community that feels like the trans community doesn't represent them. There's probably going to be in any sufficiently large movement, you're going to see minor schisms. The reality is that those schisms probably already existed, but outside of the LGBT community, you don't see them, right? So like in the United States, for instance, white people, we talk about like black people all the time, but holy fuck, the infighting in the black community is, depending on the topic, is fucking insane. And we don't even see that as like white people. I didn't know that until like a year ago. I started started getting into these communities of like black women that hate black men and black men that hate black women and black immigrants versus African Americans. Like, oh my god. So yeah, I mean, gay men are like what, like the straight men of the LGBT world now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It just seems like because they are attorneys, doctors, lawyers, and defensive ends for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they seem that like the world seems to be more accepting of them. Now, I will tell you this: I don't see what lesbian women and trans men have in common, and when they're lumped in together, it's just confusing for me. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I debated this astrologer the other day. We had him on the show, and he was saying that gay people are made, and I disagree with that. So I tried to look up specific data just on homosexual men, and I couldn't find it. It was all LBGT stuff, and it was confusing for me because I was like, I am dating a bisexual woman. She has nothing to do with a gay man, but yet all the statistics are lumped in together, and I don't understand how to find.
I mean, for a long time, when you look for white statistics, a lot of times those included Hispanic people as well, like for crime stats. Like they can it's really hard to break it out. And then one of the big problems I think with LGBT stuff is LGBT stuff used to refer very specifically to like, who are you fucking and what are you doing, right? Whereas today, it's way more an identity, right? You've got like fucking...
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I think like 20% of women or some shit are identifying as like bisexual, right? And in reality, it means they kiss a girl.
You can clip these, you don't clip the actual plant.
For younger people, a lot of them are identifying as trans, but like it's non-binary, so they just like do things with their hair and maybe they'll wear like a chest binder. And it's like it's not actually like super trans. So it's hard because the LGBT thing has become more of like an identity, so measuring it is going to be really hard without asking like really insulting questions.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I ask a person like, are you trans? Like I'll do it because I don't give a fuck. Like I'll be like, are you actually trans? Do you want surgery? Are you dysphoric? As opposed to like, are you some non-binary person that dyes their hair and wears a
You
septum
sound like a
piercing,
conservative.
Sure, depending on the
more conservative than I do.
Yeah. But it'll depend too. But like people, that happens all the time. When, I think when you talk about like black statistics in the United States, conflating. Yeah. Well, and for sure. Talking about black people in the United States is unbelievably stupid because African Americans that descend from like slave communities and everything in the United States are way different than like people that are immigrating over from like fucking Nigeria and Kenya that are some of the most educated people in the world that come to the United States, right? Or same thing with like Asian or people of color in the United States. Like, well, Chinese immigrants are going to be a lot different than the Chinese people that descended from the people that built our railroads, right?
What I was referring to, have you ever heard Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube say that they were asked, do you have a problem with white people using the N-word whenever they repeat your lyrics? And both of them were emphatically like, I have no problem whatsoever. It's fantastic. And then white people told them they were supposed to be offended.
That's not surprising at all to me.
So what I'm saying is I feel like the same thing happens with the LGBT community where there is people who represent that thing at the top and then there's the actual people who are LGBT and they're not being represented by people who are doing things that are a little bit more radical than they would expect. And that's why I was asking before, do you think openly homosexual men will eventually lead that community?
They might, but you got to keep in mind, this is the nature of all communities. Yeah. Like now, what is Rollo most known for?
The red pill community.
Yeah, exactly. Because what is Rollo most known for now? A lot of people probably don't even know he's written 5 books. They know him as the vasectomy guy. Yeah. Right? A lot of people know me as like, a lot of things depend on the community, right? Yeah. But yeah, like depending on what you do, like it's always going to be the extreme sides that are the loudest because they're the ones that are the most, like a normal average person isn't going to be like, I need to go on fucking Twitter right now and fight with this motherfucker all day. But like the extremists are like, I do need to go on Twitter and fight right now with this motherfucker all day. So yeah, that's all right. Like nobody's on Twitter like, guys, I'm a fucking moderate. Stop being mean to people, right? They're like, I'm a Nazi. I'm a communist. Fuck you. You know.
I am, and it's not helping. Nobody retweets my shit at all.
If you like something online, people hate you for it. If you hate something online, people love you for it.
Yep.
Real quick, guys. So I'll give you guys the last word. Go get my book.
Shit.
Why women deserve less. This debate.
Do we have any more super chats?
No. We're caught up on the chat. Yeah, go get the book, guys. It's in stores right now. Guys, where can they find you? Give you all.
You can find me at therationalmail.com. That's my blog. You can also find me on YouTube, The Rational Mail. I've got 5 books on Amazon. That I'm known for much more than just vasectomies. And I also do a show with this guy in Las Vegas called Access Vegas.
You guys can find me anywhere on any platform at Michael Sartain. Other than TikTok, it's Michael Sartain Podcast. You guys can also check out my program, moamentoring.com. Do not look at this at work. It is not safe for work. If you guys want to, if you guys want to check it out, if you guys want to join my free school server, like you just want to learn about more stuff we do in MOA, just hit me up on Instagram and I'll give you a link to our free school server and you guys can check it out. And we have a bunch of free stuff that we do on there. And also check us out on Access Vegas and check me out on the Michael Sartain Podcast, which is basically an evolutionary psychology podcast.
Yeah. What about
Ask you about the moon landing.
Where can they find you?
YouTube.com/Destiny, Instagram.com/Destiny.
Bam. All those links are below. And then, guys, go ahead and attend. We're going to be doing a live event
on June 2nd.
On June 2nd with Valuetainment Man. You're going to see us, Patrick Bet David, Adam Softcast. Bring it up. Chris.
In Fort
Come on,
Lauderdale.
man, wake up, bro.
Live.
El producer, man.
Live
God damn,
show.
man.
Coming to you live.
Fuck, man. Yeah,
There
man.
we go.
Yeah, facts for real. Yo, so yeah, guys, here are the different ticket tiers. Chris, how is it, man? Scroll down so we can actually.
We got.
Yeah, you guys get
Three tiers.
you got 100, 250, 500. You guys get the VIP. You guys can go ahead, take some photos, meet us, do some signing. We'll be at a cigar lounge. So yeah, it'll be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is about 29 miles from here in Miami.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, June 2nd, guys, get your tickets now.
Fuck
We're
me.
gonna sell out quick. The prices are pretty low, man. Y'all get to meet us and see us live. We're going to do a debate, something similar to this. Who knows? Maybe Destiny might be there. I don't fucking know.
You should
Probably
Gary
some
the
girls.
numbers guy.
Get the book, Why Women Deserve Less. And then Wednesday, we're going to have Michael Francis here, Mob Boss. That's going to be a great discussion. And then I think you're going to have a show on Friday. You're going to be here, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Friday
I'll be
with
out of
these
town.
guys here.
It'll be a special edition.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's all the girls coming to Babes in Toyland on Saturday. It's an animal rescue charity we're doing at the Hyde SLS at 9 p.m. It's for Operation Fashion Tales.
Fuck.
It's going to be
Why did
basically
he do that?
300 women helping us raise money for animal rescue.
And it's an all-white party.
It's a white
I'm
party.
crashing
We're
it.
white.
No, we're wearing white. It's
I'm
not
crashing
all
it.
So much white.
As the black guy, okay?
So much white. My credit score went up. It's incredible.
And,
you and I are going to be real controversial.
And yeah, guys, like the video on your way out, man. Comment below, guys. Give us some engagement on this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. I thought this was a great discussion. You guys worked on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you guys on Wednesday, 7 p.m. with Michael Francis, and then after hours with some lovely ladies. I think we're gonna have some special guests on that one as well.
We will.
And we'll catch you guys. Peace.
So loud. Stop fucking vibrating my screen. Let me go back to my YouTube. Ryan Dawson exposed why Epstein didn't kill himself. That's that's a fucking okay. That's a video for sure. I never watched this.
You've invested tons of time and money.
Let's put this on for a minute.
And trucking costs are going up. Get the
Anger is a bad emotion to have.
Nobody
Did I say
said
that?
that anger is a bad
Expressing it
emotion to have. There are ways you can express anger that
is
doesn't involve you
expressing anger.
shouting.
According to your own definition, you're abusing us, right?
If I tell you I think you're being retarded or I think you're a retard,
Oh,
that's
shit,
much
what
different
button
than
is
if I
it?
tell my son I think he's a retard. Do you acknowledge the difference there, yes or no?
Yeah, I acknowledge that difference.
Okay, thank
but
you.
Also,
So then there's a difference between me getting upset at you or Erida getting upset in this conversation with you guys when the context is like a debate that we're having, deploying extreme violence on your partner.
can it, is
Right,
it,
but
is it,
it's kind of hot that it might get turned on her. I'm not one of those people. I don't own a weapon. I've never.
Do you really think it's okay to smack a woman if she's not acting right?
I think there are times when it is appropriate. Yes.
Let's go into Q&A, everybody, and thanks again to all of our speakers for being here. Psychor, $10. Hiring a servant with your millions when you're fresh out of surgery and wife is minutes from birthing twins. Cringe. Berating your massively pregnant wife for not doing all your chores. Based.
yeah, this is this lie that if a woman is married to a rich man, that if she doesn't feel like doing something, that he should just hire somebody to take care of it for her. Women who are married to wealthy men are not just window dressing. They have obligations just like the man, and they should be held accountable instead of saying, well, if she doesn't want to do it, you have enough money to pay for her to do it. That doesn't make any sense.
Isn't Hillary Clinton like an actress or a model or something? Like, I imagine she probably wasn't working at that time, but doesn't she have like tons of things that she does?
You
Probably
said Hillary
like.
Clinton. You meant Hillary
Sorry,
Crowder.
yeah, I meant Hillary Crowder. Her too, though. I'm pretty sure Hillary Clinton's a really good model.
She's hot.
Hot. Yep.
They should both be locked up.
All right, let's continue on. Flamio, $5. Thanks for coming back. If Steven Crowder is abusing his spouse by debating her, then modern day debate is an underground fight club. We're not supposed to talk about it. Anybody want to comment on that?
How the fuck was he debating his wife? Hold on, he was like arguing.
Having an argument with somebody when they're clearly emotionally distressed and they're trying to take space, and then telling them that they're not allowed to take space is pretty abusive.
Claiming that it's okay to have more emotional range in an online debate than it is to have an argument with your wife is ridiculous. You should be able to share more of your emotions with your wife. Get angrier, get more invested, be more honest with her.
No one is saying that you can't be invested. Nobody is saying that you can't be angry, and nobody's saying that you can't be honest. It's like straw man after straw man after straw man. There are different ways that I would engage with my online community that I would not engage with my wife, that I not engage with my son, that I wouldn't engage with my parents. Of course, that's obviously true. It's not a matter of showing a different range. It's just a matter of appropriate
Give one
measures that are-
example. Give one example when you can be.
Give an example.
When you raise
If
your
I was-
voice
sure.
towards a spouse.
I don't think it's ever good to raise your voice towards a spouse.
Okay.
Oh,
Then
well, that's crazy.
we win again.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy. That's actually
Another
crazy.
win for the Thorpes.
True. Raising
the
voices
Destiny
towards
sphere is over.
spouses
and
equals
not so erudite is
base,
over.
base.
Ever raising your voice?
No,
Ever?
you shouldn't. Raising your voice usually means you're emotionally dysregulated. It's probably not a good thing to do.
So if your wife's about
can't
to walk
express
off a cliff and she's not aware of it, you can't say, "Hey, stop."
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we
According
talking?
to you.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna take a giant debate, L. There are times you raise your voice. If your wife's about to walk into traffic and you're trying to warn her not to, or if she's walking in the park and a snake is chasing her, then you can say,
So
"Why?"
now you're going back on what
I
you
am.
just said.
I am going back. You're right. That's a big debate. W for you.
So
there
take
are
the
times
L.
you can.
Right.
Yeah,
So another L
I
for
did.
you,
Huge
another
L.
W
My
for
bad.
you.
Yeah, you got me there. Okay.
Do you think there's ever like a time where it's going to be really emotionally healthy and like helpful to your relationship to like insult your wife or tell her that you don't love her?
Yes.
Is that like part of the range of
No.
emotions that you need to show your
No
spouse?
fucking shot. That guy just said
In
that.
certain circumstances, yes.
That's clinically insane. That's clinically insane.
Angry because
And everyone.
if she's made you angry because she's doing wrong, you should communicate that to her. That's healthy communication.
Do you think that you can healthily communicate that you've been...
Stop doing this! No one is saying that you can't communicate anger. Why do you keep doing this weird dichotomy? She
Yeah,
asked
you
if
just
it-
said it.
No,
Steven,
she asked you, hold on,
Steven,
Erudite asked you if it was
Steven,
okay to scream at your wife.
Steven,
Erudite
I
asked
love
you if it was
you.
okay
Hold
to
on,
scream at your
let's
wife.
let Steven-
Yeah,
let's let
Erudite
Steven
asked you if
go.
it's okay to scream at your wife, and then you counted this. You should be able to show anger, and you should be able to show emotion, whatever. No one is saying you can't do that. Stop
Yes,
with the
you
weird.
are.
No one is. Stop doing the weird dichotomy
Well,
there.
what happens? What happens
I
when
asked you for
express
one
anger?
example. You
What
didn't let
happens
Grace
when you
speak.
express anger? What happens?
You don't have to
Hey,
scream or shout or
what
demean.
The idea that you
You
guys
raise your
have-
voice and you get emotionally invested. That
Grace.
is part of getting
No,
angry.
no, there are two ways to process emotions always. It's called externalizing and internalizing.
Men show
Hold
anger
on,
more
I almost got
Let's
you. I
let
almost got you.
Erudite, please.
The fact that you think that you cannot express an emotion unless you're being abusive to your partner is insane. You can show your anger in a ton of ways. For example, when Nick and I get angry at each other, we almost always take a time out because it's not very healthy to show your partner your anger because you typically say things that you would otherwise regret. What we do instead... Okay, go off, Queen, about our relationship. But what we do instead is take some space,
about what you said.
regulate ourselves down. The idea that you must at all times maximally show precisely how you feel and never filter it at all is just immaturity. You're just being emotionally
Okay, so this
immature.
shows your bias. You think that anger is a bad emotion to have.
Nobody
say
said
that?
that anger is a bad emotion to have.
It's a bad emotion to
You can
express.
anger.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
involve you shouting.
Okay, here's a good example. I'm
Oh.
frustrated with both of you right now, and I'm raising my voice a little bit because I'm frustrated. Is that super bad? Do I think that that's bad? What do you think?
You're arguing that it is.
You said
Another
you
L
would
for
never
your
raise
side.
your
Of
voice
course
You're
I'm not.
against your
arguing that it
partner.
is.
You would never raise your voice to your
Let's
partner.
let Grace speak, please.
But you said that. So according to your own definition, you're abusing us.
Oh shit.
No, we don't have that relationship. We're people on the internet. We can shout and scream at each other. It's a different context.
Oh, but with the person you trust the most, you can't share your emotions? How does that make any sense?
If I tell you,
You can't be
if I
honest
tell
about how you feel?
No, it's not about
must
being
you
honest.
show-
If I
Let's
tell
let
you,
Steven-
if I
let's
tell
let
you,
Steven
I think you're being retarded, or I think you're a retard, that hits a lot different than if I tell my son I think he's a retard. Do you acknowledge the difference there? Yes or no?
Yeah, I acknowledge that difference.
Okay, thank
but
you.
Also,
So then there's a difference between me getting upset at you or Erida getting upset in this conversation with you guys when the context is like a debate that we're having versus getting upset about resolving a personal issue in a relationship with a significant other. Okay. Those are two different contexts.
Look.
I'm also not yelling at you guys. I'm raising my voice.
I'm yelling.
You changed it. You said there's no context in which, and I asked you, I gave you the big win. You just give me one context in which a man can raise his voice at his spouse. You said, I choose not to engage, and you took your first L, and you're keeping them coming at you. Now, if you say, of course, that with your children and with your spouse, you should start from a position of kindness and gentleness. Of course. But you're the ones who are saying that in no context can what Steven Crowder did be understandable. And you are wrong by your own admission.
No one is saying understandable. We're saying, and there are times when people do raise their voice. Nobody's perfect, but what we're saying is you can express anger and all sorts of, and disappointment and all sorts of other things without being angry, or I'm sorry, without screaming.
Take your L. You said it's abusive.
You can express anger without being angry.
Everybody, hold on.
That's what
Hold
you
on.
just said.
Hold on. We're gonna let Ben wrap up his thoughts there. He's lighting a cigarette.
I can wrap up my thoughts and smoke.
It's all good. All right, so we'll let you speak and finish up your thoughts, and we'll pass back to Stephen.
You guys are changing your position, and you're going to take yet another L. You said it's definitely abusive what Stephen said, and all we're saying is I could see a context in which it makes perfect sense. And you said nope. And Kyla actually tried to give you guys a little out, and then you took it from her by saying no, honey. No context whatsoever, and she agreed with you, and that's where you took your first L, and you can't get out of it now. You said that, and you've lost the debate, so let's move on.
Okay, here are the two statements that Kyle and I are making that you guys can't seem to wrap your head around, okay? Number one is you can express anger or disappointment or contempt without screaming or shouting at somebody, okay? For instance, I can say, you're a failure of a wife, or I can say, hey, this household is very stressful for me, and I'm very upset because you can't seem to do your responsibilities, and it is hurting me, right? You're expressing the same thing there in two totally different ways, okay? Both partners are angry and feel like their wife is failing their obligation. In one, you can express it in a very derisive, condescending, evil way. In the second way, you can express it in a, hey, I'm feeling hurt about this. You're not living up to your obligations, okay? So that's the first thing we're making. The second one is screaming, shouting, or being derisive or aggressive or angry towards your partner, or expressing that in a screaming, shouting, snarky sort of way is almost never conducive to solving problems. Those are the two statements we're making, okay? Not that you can never be angry, not that you should never ever be mean, not that being mean makes you instantly abusive, not that you can never hold them responsible for anything. We've never made any of those statements. We don't even agree with those things.
Okay, so you're going back on what you said, and you said there is no context in which Steven Crowder's behavior can be perfectly understandable, even though we've given you one.
Understandable? Sorry, you can take that if you want. No one is...
And
there's tons of
morally
things
fine.
I can
And
understand
morally
why some
fine.
people kill people. Understandable is not the same thing as morally acceptable.
Perfectly morally
All right.
acceptable.
All right, I'm sorry, fellas. Let's let Erudite in here, please.
So, you need to be clear about what we said. There are certain things where we said there is no context that we think these statements can ever be helpful, which was 3 specific statements. We started this. The reason why so many people on the internet are mad at Steven and I is because we said from the very beginning, you can't say much about a 3-minute video and how it confers to the rest of the relationship. The idea that we've just denied that context can exist outside of this, that might make certain statements that look bad become more benign, of course we've acknowledged that. That's been our position the whole time. There are 3 specific statements that are self-evidently toxic, which is, I don't love you, I'm going to fuck you up. And now I can't remember the other one. In these cases, no, there is no context where you need to say to your wife, I'm going to fuck you up, or I don't love you. There just isn't.
Even though I've given you them. Even though I've given you context.
You've never given us a statement where it's okay to say, I don't love you.
If you don't feel love towards somebody, that's okay to say.
Okay, then in that case,
What's
the
wrong
relationship
about
is,
that?
then the relationship is over.
We're not debating whether
Right.
the relationship's over.
Let's-
We're debating
we're
whether
having a
he's
crisis.
abusive. Whether
Let's let
he's
Grace speak,
abusive.
please.
You're saying that's abusive. I'm saying it's not abusive if he doesn't love her anymore. How is that abusive? It's honest.
Okay, it's either abusive or it's relationship terminating then, if you'd like to add the second one. I thought we were coming at this from the context of trying to fix problems in a relationship. So if you want to say, you can say.
you guys
if
said he
wanna
was
say-
negotiating.
Yeah,
Let's let
you
Steven
guys
speak,
were
everyone.
claiming that it was a negotiation. You said that he was trying to solve a problem, and now you're saying, well, it's okay to say you don't love somebody if
have
you're ready
to
to
be
end the
honest.
relationship.
Let's
Okay,
let Steven
then
finish.
honestly, is the relationship is done then. In that case, it's good that Hillary left. You guys should be championing that she left because Stephen Crowder said he didn't love her anymore. That's fine, which is perfectly rational. If your husband doesn't love you anymore, why the f do you stay? So, okay, cool, based.
Yeah, I think it was an end game thing. Now, I actually want to say, like, this is a larger context, is emotions. What you're saying is that the emotions that the typical way that men, big, strong, masculine men express emotions is wrong and immoral, right? And you're saying they have to have this therapist type of talk. That's not true. That's why men who are for example, Steve Jobs was notorious. I'm no big Steve Jobs fan. He was notorious for demanding a lot of his highly paid employees, and he didn't beat around the bush. And when Hillary Crowder married Steven Crowder, okay, she married a man like this, and that is attractive, okay? But if you say, well, no, you've got to clip yourself and act like Steven would act with a female always, that's not fair.
Great. So since you're not talking to Steve and I, because literally nobody said any of those things, I guess there's like an extra ghost in the room. Do you want to talk to my plant? Maybe
He
the
did
plant
say
isn't
those
saying
things.
that.
He used a specific example of where you can't have a certain tone, and then he said what you need to do is this therapy talk and go, I'm having trouble with you. Right?
Steve Jobs was notoriously seen as an asshole by literally everybody. Steve Jobs was the CEO of a company bossing around his employees. Steven Crowder, clearly his strategy didn't work because now he is divorced, and Steven Crowder's wife is not his employee. So your example literally fortifies what I'm saying and fails at what you're saying at every single stage of the way, unless you think a husband ought to treat his wife like a CEO who was notoriously known as being an asshole and died of fucking ass cancer or whatever because he ate too many vegetables, okay, that everybody fucking hated, that's like the gold standard for how to treat a partner. But none of that makes sense.
Would you say that relationships have commonalities? The relationship between a parent and a kid, between spouses, between co-workers, there are commonalities.
There are some commonalities, but there's also crucial differences.
Okay, and your difference is that you can never raise your voice or express anger in a kind of honest way. You have to clip it and always be this kind of therapist about it when a man is dealing with a woman. But I haven't heard you say that backwards. I haven't heard you say
this like Steven Crowder was just being really honest and vulnerable with his wife about his feelings it is just dishonest. That is not what happened. Hillary said, but Steven, I love you. And then he said, I don't love you. And I've never experienced love from you. He was whinging out and getting upset.
No, he wasn't doing that. You're exaggerating.
You can be pro-masculinity without being pro-toxicity, right? You can be pro-masculinity.
You're anti-masculine. You just,
not.
Yes, you did. You just made fun of him and exaggerated and tried to make him look like he was crying. He wasn't.
What's more emasculating than getting divorced from your wife and losing access to both your children?
He was fighting to keep the access.
Do that to him.
He wasn't fighting to keep the access. He fucking drove his wife out of the household.
Right, so what you would do is go, yeah, honey, okay, all your failures, just keep them coming, and I'll hire someone to do what you have to do. You can never confront a woman.
So just to be clear, when I'm making fun of...
I just want to affirm I did say that. You can never confront a woman ever. I just want to make sure we all understand that's what I was saying. Go ahead, Kyla.
Well, I asked you to give me an example. You couldn't.
So just to be clear,
Gosh,
making fun of
fucking
Steven Crowder
damn
is
it.
toxically feminine in this case, right? He's being like manipulative and trying to coerce her through his words of saying, I don't love you, and I've never experienced love from you. That's what I'm making fun of him. He's being toxic, and in this case, I think he's being feminine as well. And that's why I'm making fun of him, because it's cringe. It's toxic and inappropriate behavior.
He is being vulnerable. Yes.
No, he's
toxic
not. How
to
is he
say
being
that
vulnerable?
She's beating the shit out of him. She's beating the shit out of him, and he's taking it.
That's toxic to say?
No. Did I say it's always toxic to say these things? I said, I don't love you, and I've never experienced love to you, in response to her saying, but I love you. I want to work on this. It is toxically feminine.
She didn't
is
say
trying
I want to
coerce
work
her.
on this. You're adding things. She said, I love you, I'm committed to you, and then a couple months later, she divorced him.
What
She's
does I'm
lying
committed to you? What does I'm committed to you mean? But I want to work on things.
But then she went and divorced him. She was
He hired a
lying.
divorce lawyer. But you know, he hired a divorce lawyer.
In the context of this, if she said,
was
Steven,
honest.
I love you and I'm committed to you, and his response is to lash out and go, I don't love you, and I've never experienced love from you.
But see, you keep
feminizing
feminizing him. You
it's
keep
a toxic
feminizing
lash
him.
out.
You keep turning it into him crying like a baby. He was.
Well, the other option is he's being toxically masculine, I suppose, but we can watch it again. I'm pretty sure when he says it,
No,
it's
there's
not like
another
this, like,
option.
really impressive
There's
thing where it's
another
been like,
option, Kyla, and that
look,
is
wife,
that he was.
I'm out of this relationship. You
Okay,
know,
yeah,
we've
right.
come to the place, I don't love you anymore, wife. That's not
Right.
happening.
So that's the only two ways you can interpret masculine behavior. Because you hate men.
True.
We can watch the reaction video if you want to share it up there, Grace.
Okay, hang on. Let me find it.
Yeah. All right, let's share the
See if
reaction
it looks
video.
like what Kyla portrayed it as. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It looks like a man at his wit's end. And I sympathize with Steven Crowder. And if he's watching, I do want to have a conversation about your situation because I think it can help. And Grace can help too. Grace wants to go to that patio and give the dog his medicine and take the dog for a walk and be grateful and anything else he needs after what he's been put through.
Oh, I gotta go.
I would be happy. He needs some feminine support after being attacked by this.
Shoot, I'm dead again.
Okay,
Hold on.
Let me find it. Oh, here we go. I don't love you. Okay. Share screen.
Make sure you share the audio if there's audio
Yep.
behind.
Fuck out of my way! Come on! Where are you going? Give me one, give me one, give me one.
Okay, that's the part right there. Keep going. But...
Okay, so how does that
Okay.
sound like what Kyla said?
Because she's literally saying, Steven, I love you. I'm committed to you. And then that sounds to me like somebody that's trying to or wants to work on it. And then he's saying, I don't love you. I've never received love from you. That sounds like somebody that's given up. So in the context of this recording, it sounds like he's the one that's given up and he's ready to throw the towel. And I'm pretty sure he's the one that hires the divorce lawyer like a month after this video.
I can explain that, but I think we're at an impasse. If you think his reaction there is, Steven, we're at an impasse. If you think his reaction there
I don't love
not
you.
reasonable.
Steven, I love you. I'm committed to you. Well, I don't love you. And the big problem here is that I've never received love from
Okay,
you.
so
It's like,
you in your
whoa.
imagination think that that is what happened. And so we're experiencing two different realities, Kyla.
He
And
did
you
not
are
say
wrong.
that.
I'm on planet Earth and you're somewhere out in outer space in anti-masculine land. And you should get the hell out of the manosphere and stop telling men what to do because they should know that you are a hater of men. Don't give
There you
them
go.
any
As
more
long as
advice.
you say it
Get the fuck away from
confidently
men.
enough, anything can be true. Let me see him here.
Yeah,
Keep
go all
telling
you
us.
want. Go all you want. This is what we're doing here. We're exposing you for what you are, which is a man hater.
How are you?
I don't even know if this guy's joking or not. Or if he's being real.
Go ahead, Steven.
What?
If you had something to say there, Steven, if you wanted to.
No,
Neither of you should be giving advice to anyone about anything.
Okay, I will
Least
say,
of all
never mind.
relationships.
You are a man who is divorced from his wife, defending another man who just got
No,
divorced
I'm
from his
not.
wife for toxic behavior, talking to two people that are happily married about how to maintain a happy marriage. How are you telling us that we're not qualified to give advice on?
You want to go
It is
into
the
your
most
marriage?
insane fucking
You
thing in
want
the
to go
world.
into your marriage? You told me yesterday that you would kill your child and that the only thing keeping you from it would be the inconvenience of driving your car to the abortion clinic. You're a disgusting person.
True, babe.
Say that.
I would have an abortion, yes.
Let's try not to reference prior.
Well, easy. He referenced himself
I
as
did
an
reference
example.
myself. True.
That is.
And we can talk about Kyla too if we want, but I won't go there.
You can't talk about my relationship because there's nothing. Like if,
Right,
if you want like a
exactly,
picture perfect of just like a really
Thanks for-
healthy, happy
thanks for
relationship,
letting us.
you can find Nick and I, okay? We're so happy and healthy that my main insult on like many spaces that I'm boring, okay? But go
Well,
on.
let's continue on and you know.
Maybe. I'm not here to say like.
Okay.
I'm not here to judge your relationship, but there are signs here.
Dude. How the fuck do I do this? This is the last thing I'm doing, then I'm getting to bed.
Is an underground fight club, which I know Oflamio knows we're not supposed to talk about that. So, positive $10. Destiny is based and GigaChad because he can give the best argument for either side with no attachment. He even delivers better people who are super attached to their side. I think he means delivers arguments. Delivers better people who are super attached to their side. This is based, not flip-flop.
Wow.
It's a lot of missing punctuation.
I can't tell if they're a fan of Destiny or a hater of Destiny.
There's a bit of missing punctuation.
I would agree that your analyses of this are the most nuanced. So like we're not really on the opposite sides here, but
I don't think that much of a fan. It starts out with the basting media chat, so I don't know if that's a compliment in these spaces. So we'll just move on from there. I think we've got better questions. Sorry, Positive. Thank you for your donation, your super chat. So much mass for $4.99. If I follow Grace for 5 minutes on the street while yelling at her, is there physical intimidation?
I would say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, how is that
Yes.
physical intimidation? He's not actually attacking you.
if I
He's
have
following
followed
me. I
Grace
don't
on the
know
street
her.
for 5 minutes yelling at her, I have. It's not physical intimidation.
Wait, hold on. Grayson,
Of a
Daddy Grace
stranger
just
did it.
gave. Oh, so then there are cases where you can physically intimidate somebody without actually laying your hands on them.
Well, is it literal physical intimidation? No. Is it psychological intimidation with your physically? I mean, it's not physical. You're not blocking me, but I don't know. I don't actually. It's not physical. Literally, you're not putting your hands on me.
Anyone who's acting, any stranger on the street who's acting crazy, obviously, is creating a situation in which people are going to be concerned.
Do you guys think that like when like cowboys and like herders are like pressuring animals to move with their like body space, that they're like psychologically pressuring the animals?
We already answered this. Are we in a loop?
Just checking. Just wanted to see if you would say this.
And they're pressuring them with the threat of violence. Is that correct, Kyla?
Not usually.
No.
Usually it's
So
just
animals aren't
physical
trained
pressure.
through the use of violence. Those
Do
dogs
they?
aren't
Do
threatening
cowboys?
to nip them.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of breaking a horse?
Yeah. Yes. Usually it's not through violence. Like if you think like putting something on and taking it off.
Yeah,
is
it's
violence,
carrot
I
stick.
guess.
It's carrot stick, but you're saying like do this or suffer the consequences. We're not talking about animals anyway.
Well, we started by talking about physical presence and stuff. Yeah. And it's not typically through threat or violence. It's usually just like being spooked, right? Like you very rarely need to ever like touch a
What the
cow or
fuck?
get it to move. Basically never.
Yeah, I agree that talking with people.
Like, how the fuck do I just keep going up that wall?
To approach problems. However,
How?
it's not the only way.
How fucking miserable.
No one's saying it's the only way. It's just the only healthy way.
Yeah, you are. You're saying you
It's the
can't.
only
you
healthy
can't
way.
rise to a certain threat. Okay, so it's the only healthy way.
Yes.
So that's where we disagree.
Clearly.
And the entire corpus of psychology
hello?
and human history shows that there are times when you have to raise your voice and exhibit aggressive things to prevent evil from occurring.
There will.
And you know
never,
that true.
There will never be.
Well, I'd
a
hate
case.
to be in your house if someone comes in and
Sorry,
threatens
Ben.
your family because you're going to be rational. You're not going to raise your voice and intimidate that person.
Notice how the only time you said it's acceptable to raise your voice is in times of like grave, like life-threatening, like when your wife is about to fall off a cliff or if somebody breaks into your house and you're
But
comparing
you
that.
said never.
Let's let Steven speak.
Yeah. When we say never.
You said never.
When we say never, obviously the context is in resolving conflict
Don't
with a
say
partner.
never. Don't say never.
Okay.
Let's let Steven speak, please, Ben.
I'm sorry, let me give all the qualifiers, okay? You should never do it when you're trying to resolve a conflict with your wife, when you're both on the planet Earth, when the year is 2023, when the person isn't hard of hearing so you don't need to raise your voice to communicate with them, when they're sufficiently close to you that speaking quietly, like, do I have to add like a million qualifiers for you to understand what we're talking about? Like, it's pretty obvious what I'm saying. When I say don't raise your voice to your partner, and then you go, well, what if they're about to walk into the street? You really think that's what we're talking about right here?
Is it wrong to be angry at somebody? And if not, is it wrong
Holy
to
shit.
show that
Whoa!
anger?
Where's the
Is it
rewind
wrong-
thing? We just got sucked back to
Hold
some
on.
dumb shit that
Here, hold
nobody
on.
Is it
said.
wrong to show
Steven,
that
sorry, let's
anger
let Grace speak.
through yelling at somebody? Through yelling at somebody?
Generally,
through showing
yes.
anger?
Yes. You shouldn't
That's
be yelling
wrong.
at partners.
So it's,
yes.
but is it okay to be angry at somebody?
Yes, it is okay to be angry. You shouldn't be shouting at your partner.
Okay, what are the typical ways that we express anger?
There are lots of typical ways we express anger, but you can do it with your words. You can do it with your actions. You can do it by taking space from
No,
somebody.
anger is an emotion. So how do we emotionally express it? If you're sad, you cry. If you're angry, you...
Well, there's a million things you could go work
You're
out.
angry, you...
Like, what the
Hey,
fuck?
I'm angry with you. That's one way to express it.
You said that's wrong.
I
No, he
did
didn't.
not say that's wrong.
Never said
You-
that's
you
wrong.
Well,
just
that's what
yelled
Steven
that.
Crowder is doing. So another W
That's-
for us.
I'm angry
Bro.
at you. You just said that. That's what he said to her. So that's abuse or not?
All
you
he
just
did
said
is
that's fine.
express frustration.
Yeah, okay, that's all he did. I'm gonna
That's
fuck
all
you
he
up.
did.
It was just a feeling. He was just feeling.
Okay, see now
like
you're
he
saying
might
now you're
want to fuck her
now
up.
you're saying what the context was, and you raised your fist, and you're lying, Kyla. Stop lying about men. You should be in the manosphere, but stop lying about men.
Let's continue on with our super
Men are
chats,
not
'cause
evil, Kyla.
whatever we're talking about right now, I mean, I know what we're talking about right now, but whatever we are talking about, it's all going to come full circle because we've got lots of super chats coming in. And if you want this conversation to continue, keep the super chats coming in and we'll continue to read them and we'll continue on. So, now I have to scroll up. This is never fun. Okay, Vosh fan for $13.99.
No fucking way! Why?
Following someone to continue an
It's the
argument,
same spot.
kind of similar to what we just read. If following someone to continue an argument when they want it to end, is it physical abuse? Then every girlfriend is it physical abuse? Then every girlfriend I've ever had should be put in jail. Stop gaslighting us. You guys are better than this.
So to be clear,
That's how you-
I never said it was
everything.
physical abuse. I said that he was physically imposing himself. And by the way, I would agree that if you're trying to get away from an argument with a girlfriend and she follows you into the next room, I would agree that that's abusive. Yes, you have a right to draw space between you and your partner when you feel like you are upset or emotionally dysregulated. Absolutely. And if somebody tells you you don't, or if they're trying to impose themselves physically on you to force you to continue the argument, I would say that's an abusive behavior. Yes.
All right, over to you, Erudite. That question was for both of you.
I mean, we basically answered it. Nobody here said abuse. We said physical coercion. And if you are following around, yes, that is bad. I believe that almost nobody would be thrown in jail for following somebody around, even though it's toxic. Just because a behavior is toxic or abusive doesn't mean it's illegal.
Utterly ridiculous.
Well,
All
let's
abusive
continue
behavior should be illegal.
Well, let's continue on because we will have lots of open discussion, I think.
What am I supposed to do there? How in the world am I supposed to survive that?
Last question there. So, Vosh fan again for $13.99 Canadian. Woo, woo, Canadian. All right, imagine hubby refusing to do his agreed.
What if I go this way?
And telling his concern.
Oh, nothing.
He'll be back when I'm back, and stranding her by taking their vehicle so she can't visit her friends or family. Lol. Lol. He adds a lol at the end, so I think that's for Destiny and Erudite. So I'm gonna hand that to you, Erudite, to start.
I guess person's never heard of taking an Uber or calling a friend, which is like part of the conversation. I think it's been well said. It wasn't precisely about the car. There is questions that we have to know about the context, like is there only one vehicle? Is there a reason why Stephen felt that he must have the car and why he couldn't take an Uber or have a friend pick him up? Yeah, I don't know. It's just a silly point.
I don't like being misrepresented here, and I don't appreciate people acting otherwise. I hate women. And if I saw a guy that said that he wanted to leave the house and the woman wouldn't let him take the car, I would say, fuck that woman, okay? I don't have an obligation here towards women or men or hating men or whatever, okay? Fuck women. If a guy wanted to leave the house and said, no, you're not allowed to, you can't take the car, I'm not going to let you, I would say, oh, that woman seems like she's being really manipulative and controlling. The same thing I would with Stephen Crowder.
All right. Well, let's continue.
Nice.
on.
Nice. Nice. Suck my dick game. Nice.
Oh my. Yeah, that's scroll up quite a bit. Ozion talks. Hey, Ozion, how you doing tonight? $10. Glad to see you're here. Ben Thorpe. A man doesn't show aggression to women. A woman who is afraid of you and flinches from you does it for a reason. Either because of experience or from other men, or that man. So, just to summarize.
Can you please?
Man doesn't show aggression.
Whatever. Nice game.
A woman who's afraid of you and flinches from you does it for a reason, either because of experiences from other men or that man. Thoughts on that, Ben?
Yeah, interesting question. I do not think that violence is a good solution except in the most extreme circumstances for men with their partners or spouses or with their children. Yeah, I do think sometimes it's warranted, but it's not a good solution, and people who are into that. Now, I will tell you this. Women like it. And you can say what you want, but they like it. They like it more than men like it. And that's an instinct, and they like aggressive men, and they even like violence. I've never understood that, but it's there, and it's the bad boy. I'm a good boy, but I'm seen as a bad boy because in this sphere, no one can be a male at all. But I never have understood it, but women love assertive men, and it does go into violence. and I don't agree
Thoughts
with
on
it.
that on our other side?
That's just absolutely not true. You see the wordplay being done here with women like aggressive or assertive or confident men. That's not the same as being physically abusive. Women do not like men that hit them.
Right. So who's watching 50? Who's buying 50 Shades of Grey, Steven?
50 Shades of Grey is a movie.
Why was that a huge bestseller?
Because it's a
Because
fantasy.
men bought it?
It's a movie and it's a fantasy.
Okay, so where is fantasy located? It's in your mind, right? It's something you desire. Women are not
Fantasy
buying.
is- Okay.
Get it,
I
baby.
really like the
Yes.
Spider-Man and Batman movies, but I don't jump off of buildings in capes.
Well, it speaks to you in some way. And,
It does.
You know,
Same
whatever.
way that 50 Shades of Grey might speak to somebody.
Okay,
It's not
so
that I
what does
want
it
a man that
speak to?
beats the shit out of me.
What does it speak to? It speaks to a thirst that women have to be dominated and to be powerless. Yes, it does.
Dominated and
I-
powerless in a setting with a man that you respect and are extremely
maybe
physically
Who is that
aggressive.
guy?
Not just
And
some loser
trust.
that's beating. Yeah, not some loser
And
that's beating the
trust.
shit out of you.
And you have an explicit contract with as well.
This feels like a bad guy.
Okay, yeah. The explicit contract thing is what we all say to make it safe, but it's the
Uh-oh. Do I still have to play the game?
That's the exciting part of it. I'm not advocating for it, but
If
it
you-
does. It is there, and I think it's a counterbalance to women having too much power in our culture, and they don't like it. And I think they want it.
guess,
They
what
want
Uh-oh,
do you-
Ori.
Like, what do you do about like women's abuse shelters where women are trying to sneak and run away from their abuse?
Am I dead? Am I gonna be in the owl?
These awful men in their lives.
Is the light that
These
she
women are
hated
just,
the
like,
light of our
secretly
kind?
lying, and they're like are desperately like horny for it, and they're just like hoping he'll come
Well,
get her.
no,
Like,
obviously they go to the abuse shelters to get tips from other women for where to find all the good men.
true.
Well, are you saying that where there's situations of domestic violence, there aren't women who really feel like that's home for them and they enjoy it, even though it's dysfunctional?
I like
There
how you
are.
do you remember
There
Kyla,
are.
the conversation we had earlier about you provide a fundamental psychological need while also like attacking somebody at the same time, and you get like you just like describe the
I'm
dynamic
not
perfectly.
advocating
No,
for it.
you
I'm just
describe the
saying.
dynamic perfectly. Yes,
Yeah,
there are
it's
people
really-
that can be psychologically abused to such an extent that they also tolerate physical abuse on top of it, and it can make the highs that much more exhilarating when the lows are that much more horrible. We call those abusive relationships. It's like doing heroin. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Also,
I
is
basically
it
agree
true
with you.
that there are people who have received literally zero love in their life, so they'll take a partner who gives them like a small amount of love in exchange for lots of abuse because it's better than literally anything that they've ever experienced?
Nice.
Yes, that is true that this
We did it.
exists. It's tragic, it's awful, it's sad, and that doesn't mean that all women want that.
A lot of women would love to be with.
That's
a
it for tonight,
capable
boys.
of extreme violence.
Capable of
To
extreme
protect
violence
them.
and
They find
deploying
that fucking hot. and I'm
capable-
not one of those men, but they love it.
28%
Love it.
through
Sorry,
the
guys.
game,
Capable
I
of extreme
assume.
violence is not the same as deploying extreme violence on your partner.
Can it,
Mm.
is it,
But
is it,
it's kind of hot that it might get turned on her. I'm not one of those people. I don't own a weapon. I've never.
no, that's
What do you think they're more likely attracted
By
to?
purely
That's,
sweet
like,
teammate,
If we're
okay.
taking this premise, do you
You
think that
want
they're
all
more
but-
attracted to the fact that like they could fuck things up, that they're physical specimens that are impressive, or do you think that they're attracted to the fact that like who knows at any moment he might snap and beat my face in? God, I love that. Which do you think it is?
you
Both.
respect him a little bit
Both.
more because he could exert physical control
Yeah.
over you.
I'm not advocating for it.
That's,
I'm saying, like, you should
I'm not
talk
watching
to
any more of
women
this.
about-
I just needed something to play in the background. No copyright, please. I just need something to play so that I could have like minor focus for the game. Okay. I know some cool though, guys. We're gonna play a 3-minute ad. What the fuck? Wait, why can't I? I have to wait for it to prepare? Okay, we'll wait. Oh, so good at conducting my orchestra. The Pure Leaf Orchestra. Shit. Apples. Apples to apples, to 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 apples. apples to apples to apples to apples. That's comparing apples to apples. Apples to apples, apples. Apples, apples, apples. Apples, 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 apples. Apples, 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 apples. Stop comparing apples to apples. Apples. Orange. I'm so hyped for Jedi Survivor. I know it's already out, okay? I'm hyped for it to get fixed on PC so that I can play it and enjoy the game. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to very soon be able to play Jedi Survivor. I'm excited very soon to be able to play Jedi Survivor, okay, on stream, on PC, without it being buggy. But first, I'm gonna do like a whole, I'm gonna finish Ori, I'm gonna finish the other Ori probably, and then I'm gonna play Jedi Fallen Order, and then I'm gonna play Jedi Survivor. Then we might play another game, I don't know. It's kind of the general trajectory that I think I'm going right now. Three-minute ad break. Let's hit it. Actually harder than it looks. It's kind of straining my hands. I gotta work out and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's even harder doing my left hand. Oh, because I just twisted with my right, yeah. Alright, well, bye fellas. See you in the next one.